The one shot right from Stanley is going to be called, and it's going to be Lemieux again. I think the Red Wing player near the bench was dropped. Hit him right from behind and jammed him right into the boards. At the point, Bouchard has him well covered. Red Wings have 3 in deep. They can't come up with it. Coffee will stop it, go on. He missed it at the blue line. So they have to stop the back outside and penalty is. Grudlin, he can't in front of the Adams Division Final. 20-year-old Claude Lemieux with the winner at 5:55 of overtime. Front Lemieux shoots there and tries to take out. Celsius went to the dive. Tucker Mullins, tightly.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Tucker Mullins, tightly. Breaking ahead for Holloway. He's got Thomas with him. Holloway walks in, shoots. That's blocked. Rebound, score!
On Sports 1440.
Aaron tries to take out Grudlin. He can't. In front, Lemieux shoots and scores! Lemieux and Montreal has won the Adams Division Final. 20-year-old Claude Lemieux with the winner at 5:55 of overtime.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Penalty is going to be called, and it's going to be Lemieux again. I think the Red Wing player near the bench was dropped. Hit him right from behind and jammed him right into the boards.
Well, tremendous Thursday afternoon. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Lots to discuss on the show today. Of course, the passing of Claude Lemieux, fortunately a 4-time Stanley Cup winner, also won a Conn Smythe Trophy with the Devils, won cups with the Canadiens in '86 when he was a rookie, then with the Devils in '95, with the Avalanche in '96, and again with the Devils in 2000. And Claude Lemieux was 60 years of age. He was just at Game 3 of the Montreal Canadiens game, was carrying the torch and brought it out to the crowd. And he's survived by his wife and 4 children. including his son, Brennan, of course, who used to play in the NHL, is now playing over in Europe, and Claudia, Michael, and Christopher, and his wife, Deborah. Real sad day. And it is one, it's a reminder, gents, to always reach out to your buddies. Especially, like it's funny, if you look at it, early in your youth, you need your guy friends, and hey, how you doing? Good. Well, you might want to probe a little bit deeper, and then definitely ages 45 to 60. Unfortunately, that is an age group where there's lots of gentlemen who struggle and end up taking their own life, and that's unfortunate. So doesn't matter who you are. Be sure to check in on your buddies, gents. It's and if they say good, maybe follow up with are you sure? Are you sure you're good? Because sometimes guys just they don't want to talk about it. So it's always good to maybe ensure that everything is a-okay. Coming up on the program today, Landon Ferraro will join us. Dave Owens from Sherbrooke Liquor. We got TR. Bill McCreary is going to join us. There's a new book out, some great tales. Of course, Bill's like the only official who's been inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame this century. So he had himself a great career, was highly respected official. He'll join us. We got Livingston, Cam Tate, 2-minute warning. Hear from Arthur Staple. Some names out there, Laviolette, Gallant, guys that he's covered. Some potential coaching options for the Edmonton Oilers. I'm sure you've seen or heard the Bruce Cassidy interview where, as we said last week, Bruce confirmed it. I can't just quit, right? You're not allowed to do it. Otherwise, he would have done it already. So can't. Now, he could quit, but then all that happens is he just walks away from the money, but Vegas would still have to give him clearance to talk to another team. That's just how the contract is structured. And as I've said before, this case will have some coaches in the future just saying, hey, you know what? Just put it in my contract. If I'm relieved of my duties, I will also be given permission to interview with other organizations. However you want the wording done, that's what they'll need. Spec will be by. Brian Keating will join us. We'll talk a little OKC San Antonio Spurs, who are going at it tonight in Game 6. The Thunder looking to win the series and take on the Knicks in the NBA Final, which will begin on Wednesday, regardless of what happens tonight. If the Thunder lose tonight, then they will have Game 6 in OKC on Saturday night. And I wouldn't be shocked if this series goes 6. I also wouldn't be shocked if OKC wins. OKC is a very good team. And, it's interesting. I haven't, it's amazing all the NBA people up in arms about the OKC Thunder. And hey, you know what? When you're good, people will find reasons to hate you. It's just how it goes. And, they talk, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander flops, and maybe at times he does. Well, the league clearly doesn't have a problem with it. And there are many games where that's not the reason they lose at all. So they're a pretty deep team. That's the advantage of the OKC Thunder. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, Jays on the road tonight, facing a familiar face in Chris Bassett is the starting pitcher tonight for the Baltimore Orioles. Going on the mound, Corbin for the Jays, who's, that's been a great signing for Toronto. They needed some pitching depth due to all the injuries, and Corbin's come in and been pretty good so far in his few starts. So we'll see if the Jays can their offense keep going. You know what? They did score 8 runs. They are 8-4 in their last 12, but they still are struggling a little bit to have consistent games offensively. Right? Like no one can debate that. The Jays offense is still at times rather pedestrian, to put it politely, for sure. At the World Championships today, Canada gets a big win, 4-0 over the USA. Unfortunately, for Evan Bouchard and for Oilers fans, Bouchard took a cheap shot to the head from Ryan Linger, and that's a clear headshot. Unfortunately for Bouchard, it looks like he was knocked out on the initial impact right to the head, and he went down. Did not return. He's not going to return in the tournament. You get knocked out like that, he's not playing in the next 72 hours. So his tournament is over. They'll play in the semifinals on Saturday, and then if they make to the finals, it'll be Sunday. But Bouchard's not going to be playing. And you hope that it looked way worse than it is. And luckily, there's a few players who have significant issues with concussions and post-concussion symptoms that can last a long time. And you really hope that's not the case for Evan Bouchard, because that's not pretty. And make no mistake, Bouchard is a vital part of the Edmonton Oilers. So you hope that it looked worse than it actually is. And you know what? Maybe he's just down for a week or so and is feeling okay and can get back to training. But you never know in concussions. It's different for everybody. But that was not a great look, and it was a clear headshot by Ryan Lindgren. And I don't want to hear that. He's not a dirty player. Doesn't matter. That play was dirty. Just because you don't have a reputation of being a dirty player doesn't mean you can't deliver a dirty hit. It's a dirty hit. There's no, he's done for the tournament. He's probably going to get multiple game suspension. I would think like the USA's out. They lost. So whatever. But I would expect that, double IHF, that's a significant suspension. That is a pretty blatant headshot for sure. So you can always text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Connor Halley is here with us. Con man, how you doing?
Doing good, Jason. I was very thrilled to see Canada knock off the United States, even if it's not the biggest tournament. After the Olympics, the men's, the women's, the Paralympic Games, I needed to see Canada beat the United States. So I'm glad they got it done this morning, despite the hit to Evan Bouchard, like you said, especially with the international rules, like curly headshot.
Oh, that's in the NHL. That's a headshot, man. Like that's anybody trying to suggest it wasn't a headshot. No offense, is an idiot. Yeah. Like you can't get more clear headshot than that.
Elbow comes through. He even leaves the ice after. Dirty play. Did not like that one. Hope Bouchard's going to be okay, but glad to see Canada advancing.
Yeah. And no surprise, Cons, our least intelligent texter living up to his name today, Kenneth. Oh, still haven't seen him hit his head. Protect yourself. Onus is on Bouchard. Kenneth, like, it must get tiring being that stupid. Honestly. It's amazing. Right? Like, I know you try to troll people, but imagine saying something, because you probably believe some of it. And that's a pretty bad existence story. But, I haven't seen him. Like, it's just, what a moron. So, anywho. Few other news and notes. The Edmonton Oilers have had some promotions within their organization, which includes the Edmonton Oil Kings. So Michael Parkati is now the vice president of analytics and technology. He's been running the analytics department of the Oilers, and now he's continues there and has a little bit of a promotion. Kurt Hill is no longer the GM of the Edmonton Oil Kings. He is now assistant GM of the Oilers, and his main role will be player procurement, which is, he's going to be helping out in the draft, helping out in free agency, kind of, jack of all trades a little bit when it comes to scouting. It's a good scout. Callie Larson, I mentioned this earlier. I expected him to get a promotion. He's another assistant GM, and his main role will be player development and innovation. Toby Salmalainen, assistant GM of the European operations. And hey, if you look at it, you get guys like Josh Szymanski and others from Europe. It's a massive market, and very important to have somebody over there. Andreas Carlson is the director of player development. Justin Mahi is now the director of hockey operations and player experience. And at the Oil Kings level, Michael Chan is promoted. He now will replace Kurt Hill. Michael is the president, GM, and WHL alternate governor for the Oil Kings. And Jamie Jackson, that guy's been grinding it out for a while. He's now the director of scouting for the Oil Kings. So Michael, of course, being a longtime scout inside the organizations, worked with Kurt Hill, and it's just it's a promotion. I think the Oilers are promoting Kurt Hill right now simply because, there's been some people kicking tires, and I don't think they wanted to lose him in the organization. So he now moves up. So the Oilers will have, there's 5 different assistant GMs now. You all have different roles. Keith Gretzky remains on as a assistant GM of the Oilers. He's also the general manager of the Bakersfield Condors. Bill Scott remains in his role. He's the capologist, also over the season does a lot of the pro scouting for the organization. So they just added some more bodies, and why not? Doesn't count against the cap. If you can hire good people and they are going to do a better job at finding talent, that's what you should do. Why not? So we're hoping to talk to a few of those guys here in the coming days. But those announcements coming today from the Edmonton Oilers. If you're wondering, so basically, Callie Larson will continue his work collaborating and consulting with fellow senior management and coaches for both the Oilers and the Condors, in addition to overseeing staff members responsible for individual plans for prospect development. Callie will also monitor Oilers skill and performance coaches to create similar plans for current players. So skill development's massive for each individual player. It's a huge thing, right? So there you go. Salmelainen, this is his third year, so he's got a newly formed group responsible for all the European operations, including amateur and pro scouting, free agent recruiting, and player procurement. So there you have it. So him and Larson have been pretty important for those guys, because the Oilers, you know what, if you're going to trade away your draft picks, then you know what, you find players in other avenues. And there's lots of good players who, just because they didn't get drafted at 18 doesn't mean they're not good. Look at the NHL. We've said this many times. First round picks, second round picks, undrafted as far as most players in the NHL where they come from. First round, second round, then undrafted, then third to seventh round. So that's how it goes. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, curious if you're going to have anybody from Montreal on. While we're looking at it, obviously, Claude Lemieux, you know, he's been a pretty big deal in Montreal, and so we're trying to track down the right guy to talk about Claude. He had an unreal career, right? Like, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he had a really good career. Played 1,215 regular season games, 379 goals, 786 points, 1,700 plus penalty minutes in the playoffs, 234 games, 80 goals, and 158 points. Obviously won a Conn Smythe, won 4 Stanley Cups. So it was one of those guys who always seemed, not always, but more often than not, elevated his game come playoff time. And speaking of playoffs, the NHL, Montreal Canadiens are now in must-win territory. Third time this season, but they've had to win games. Obviously, they won 2 Game 7s already, right? Being down in a series, actually Game 6 was a must-win for them. So they're 3-0 in must-win games so far this season. They'd have to go 6-0 to get the Stanley Cup final. And right now, Carolina just looks like the better team. The Montreal Canadiens, we'll get to some of their numbers in our stats of the day coming up in the 4 o'clock hour today, because they had there's some wild stats about the Canadiens, something teams just have never done. And it's not good. It's not great. It's hard to score when you don't get any shots. And Carolina, really, outside of Game 1 against the Habs, Carolina's really dominated the playoffs this year. So we probably shouldn't be surprised that they are 1 game away. And if they win tomorrow night, the Stanley Cup will start on Tuesday in Carolina. If by chance Montreal wins, then they would play Game 6 on Sunday, and the Stanley Cup final would start automatically next Thursday. So it's either going to be a Tuesday or Thursday start for the NHL. And if it's Tuesday, they'll start on Tuesday, then they go Thursday, and I think it's then Sunday. So we'll wait and see. Take a quick break. Landon Ferraro joins us next. It's Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hear that? That's your entry calling. Go Auto is sending you to the biggest football event in the world, live in Vancouver, with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for 2. To enter the contest, just text GAME to 780-777-7777. That's GAME to 780 all sevens. Go Auto, get in the game.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
At Papa John's, get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, order off the Papa Pairings menu and save. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
The Edmonton Riverhawks return Friday. Join the best party in the River Valley with 27 theme nights like Paws in the Park, Star Wars, and Margaritaville. Don't miss opening weekend. Tickets start at $21 at tickets@gohawks.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
This is you.
Hi.
And your cornhole team needs money.
Yeah, we do need money.
Plus, you've tried every fundraiser under the sun.
No kidding, and no one's buying my Cuban salted chocolate.
Scrap the chocolate and fundraise for your team, club, or charity at On the Rocks. Here's the deal. We'll create custom tickets for your event, which includes no cover, no line, and beverage before 10 p.m. Then you sell your tickets and keep all the profits.
That sounds easy.
It is. Fundraisers at On the Rocks. Book, party, cash. OnTheRocksYEG.com.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
223. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Donnie P running things over at our YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. So give him a thumbs up. Say hello. The chat line as well. Busy show coming today. Of course, it's a busy time of year in sports. Man, there's so much going on. You got the Riverhawks getting going tomorrow. You have the Elks final preseason game tomorrow. Then they'll kick off another regular season next Saturday in Ottawa. Of course, their home opener comes up on the 20th. Also, we'll get to the Stanley Cup final. We'll get to the NBA final. You got MLB. Got a big rugby event coming into Edmonton later in June. So, and then, of course, there's draft, free agency. There is lots going on. It's awesome. Also, CFL announces today that they got a big TV deal. So we'll touch on that a little bit later on as well. But first, we're going to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings right now, especially if you're looking for solar for your commercial building. You can get 30% federal tax rebate and more. Find out how to get all the savings, actionelectrical.net. They'll walk you through the process as Landon Ferraro, former NHLer, joins us. And Landon, the Montreal Canadiens, it's been a great run, but man, it's been the last few games have been fairly hard to watch if you're a Montreal fan looking for any sort of offensive pulse.
Yeah, I feel like if you're a Montreal fan, it's just trying to readjust how you're looking at what's happening right now. It's amazing that we've made it to this point, this early in a rebuild. We're in a conference final, but like they've completely run out of gas. And for the amount of heartbreak that Carolina has gone through over the past number of years, continually making it to the conference final and never finding their way through it, as much as Montreal's hit a wall here, Carolina has been rolling along really well and playing really good hockey.
Yeah, you look at Carolina, and now it's it seems inevitable. It's going to be Carolina and Vegas, and similar styles. And I don't want to disrespect Montreal because they're not officially out, but you look at Carolina, and outside of Game 1 against Montreal, they've really dominated most of their games in the playoffs this year.
They really have, and for a lot of it is they're getting to the conference final, right? Like you just know they're going to be back there, and it's whether they can take that next step and get through it. And until this point, they've, not to say it's been easy, but they've definitely handled their series exceptionally well and played a really confident style that never looked desperate, never looked like they weren't confident that they were going to come out with a win that night. And now to carry it in, they had a massive break, and a team of Montreal that was super excited from the game before and excited they're in the conference final, and that kind of showed. But at the same time, it's not like they ran away with it in the sense that Carolina was just completely lost. You knew they were going to come back, but to bounce back and play 3 games like they have now, I mean, this team really, really looks good. And, not to discount Montreal, but looking ahead, this final, to me, it goes one of two ways. It's going to be an absolute check fest in the neutral zone, or it's going to be a really fun, hard-hitting series, and really hoping it's that second one.
Yeah. I look at, a Carolina, just, you watched that game last night, and this is like methodical almost. Like Montreal right now, and it's been 3 games in a row. Like they've set the NHL record for fewest shots in a 3-game span in NHL history, right? Like 43 shots. You can't even average 15 shots a game. Like, are you kidding me? You scored 4 goals in 3 games. Like they're just, and it's not like, they're missing the net on a ton of great chances and anything like that. It's just, they're not generating very much. Now, obviously the Suzuki breakaway, that's the one that stands out to me in Game 3. He scores there, Game 4. Yeah, they lost in overtime. He scores that one. You're thinking, hey, man, it's a totally different game in Game 3, excuse me. But other than that, like last night, like Freddie Anderson's got really good numbers, but the last few games might have been some of the easiest games he's ever had as a goalie.
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point now that it's in Montreal's head that we're not getting many shots. We need to make sure that it's the best shot possible that we get. And what I mean by that is, Suzuki last night, there's that play to the middle, and he's about to take the one-timer, but then I know what he's thinking. I'm too far out. This isn't going in. So he's going to try and get a bit closer, but because of that, now he doesn't even get a shot on net, and it's going back the other way. It's trying to dumb it down of, you don't have to find the best shot. Like, I forget who the other player was, but they were driving the net on the far side. Like, give the puck a chance. Get it to the front of the net. Don't try and score, but put it low for a rebound and see if you can get a greasy one that way. But I've been in those positions where you feel like you can't get to the inside, you can't find chances, And then you do have a shot from a distance, but you're like, I feel like I'm just giving it away again. Like, to me, it's in their head, and they need to get that out and try some volume in the first period and see if you get a couple good bounces out of that.
Leonard Frauer joins. Meanwhile, Vegas sweeps Colorado, convincing fashion to get to the Stanley Cup final. Their second Stanley Cup final in 4 years. Their third in 9 seasons since joining the National Hockey League. Obviously, it's been a very good run for the Vegas Golden Knights. What do you make of the Knights? And were you surprised at how much they controlled that series against Colorado?
Well, before moving on to Vegas, like, just quickly with Colorado, like, again, it just shows, and we saw it in Edmonton's series, like, if your best player isn't healthy, it's really hard to win a series. And when Makar came back, even, like, what his level was, he was just a good defenseman in the NHL. He wasn't one of the best players in the world. He just wasn't able to move, and then McKinnon goes down in a certain way, and it's the same thing. You got no chance. But moving on to Vegas, I mean, man, they're a machine right now. And the way that they're able to play their 4 lines, it's like, I haven't seen a team dictate the style of play as much as them in recent times, really. Like, they set up the way they want. It's going to be hard forechecking. They don't give up much through the middle as well. Like, that's where, if you look at it, it ends up being them in Carolina. Like, it's going to be really interesting to see how they play each other through the neutral zone, how they're going to get through that, because it can't just be a complete dump and chase from 2002 all over again. So it's going to be interesting. But you look at, the guys at the top end, Marner being surrounded by a really good team has shown, what we've already seen at the Olympics and the Four Nations. Like, just what a player he is, the poise that he has with the puck and how he's able to find those openings. But you go up and down that lineup, and any guy that you name, you can almost name 2 or 3 things that in this series alone that they've done and you remember. If you have everyone contributing in that sense, you're in a really, really good spot.
Leonard Frauer joins us here on Sports 1440. What about the Avalanche? Do you see any significant change there? Or are they just like, you know what? Hey, unfortunate injury to Makar and McKinnon. Let's just regroup, because pretty much all their key forwards are signed. They've got Kulak and Brent Burns, who are unrestricted free agents. Brent Burns, I think, is 58 games away from breaking the all-time record for most consecutive games played. I get the sense he might not come back to Colorado, but what would you do you think, if you're the Avalanche?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, to me, where any big change out of that just feels like a false reaction to what happened. Again, right, you can look at it for a number of different teams, but you can say you got to have depth and you got to be able to, cover over that. And you can do it for a game or 2, maybe in the playoffs, but you can't expect to go far without your most skilled players being that. And they didn't have that chance in Colorado. So to me, like, it is, it'd be disappointing when you look down a little bit and, looking at Nelson and guys like that didn't quite contribute the way you would have liked to have seen. Really, like, what are they going to do? They can fire Bednar if they want, but what coach are you bringing in that's better than that? Right? Like, he's known as one of the best coaches in the league. And I mean, I know Edmonton would be very happy to have him, just like every other team that has an opening at coach right now. So you can make that if you feel like you absolutely have to. But to me, that's just making a move to make a move to have something go out.
Yeah. That's it would be another case, I think, of just the coach gets all the blame, and I'm not sold that that's the best strategy. Yeah. I'll say this: if Jared Bednar gets let go, there'd be a lot of teams lining up quickly to grab him as the head coach. Yesterday, we discussed on the show some potential rule changes. Some I know are kind of wishful thinking. Them removing slow motion replay on offsides. I'd love to see it, but I'm not sure they'll ever do it. I did actually have a former NHL referee reach out to me after reading the article, and he was a huge proponent of the pool reporter idea, basically what the NBA does, right? After games, you can have, because he even said, he goes, you know what? When I there were times where I wish I could have spoke afterwards to explain things. Even if you make a mistake, but in a lot of cases, the official makes the right call, but everybody else gets mad thinking it's the wrong call. He talked about that one. He also, I had the 3-on-3 rule where, you know, you want basically like NBA over and back, that once you cross center, then you can't cross back. And someone had mentioned, well, I like that rule, but maybe once you cross the offensive blue line, because then we know you're in the offensive zone, now you can't cross center. I'm like, that's fine. I don't really care. But I think those two, like the pool reporter has nothing to do with on the ice, but I do think it has to help in transparency of the game.
Yeah, to be honest, like I'll start with the 3-on-3 because that to me is way more exciting. But I like the can't bring it back, right? But to me, just to make it as simple as possible, you're gonna want a bit more space anyway, but you don't want them to be able to bring it all the way back. To me, you can almost just make it a straight red line rule. It's red line, like, it almost turns to basketball.
Hockey. Yeah,
ball hockey. So you have that little bit of extra space, because I don't want it to be where it's jammed in the zone and it's just skating around the outside the entire time, trying to find that one opening. If you open up that extra space to the red line, you can get a bit more pace or space up top, and you might have more guys diving through with a ton of speed, trying to attack one-on-one. I think it'll set up more one-on-one action than real kind of just cycling around in the zone and trying to just make one pass to the back door, in a sense, or use that one screen. So I like that. But for the referees being able to talk after the game or, you know, explain a different situation, I think it would be massive. There's no reason not to. And like you said, I imagine there's a ton of times that referees would love to be able to explain why a certain play happened. Because, you know, think about how many times across any part of work, like if you could just explain it very simply to someone before the emotion fully gets involved into it, then it's done. You can listen to it, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and you can move on at least. Or even if you disagree with it, there's no more guessing to why that happened. So to me, I think that protects the referees in a lot of ways. It gives them a chance to have a voice. It doesn't need to be holding press conferences, but a couple little points after the game, if there's a situation that needs addressing, I think it helps everyone.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think transparency and communication, people don't have to like the answer, but if you can inform them on it and be truthful, it's better for everybody involved. And so I would like that one. I'm still a big believer in, and the NHL is getting closer, because to me, 28 years of age, 5-year max contract. Now, guess what? Starting next summer, the max contract, you can get basically 28 years of age, or well, I guess the 27 is free agents, is 6 years on the free agent market. That's the max. Yeah. You can get 7 if it's signed by your team. The NHL already reduced it by 1. I would just speed it up, because eventually it's going to go there, because both sides will realize shorter terms benefit everybody. That's just a fact. They do. Like, there's the odd player who, you know what, some team gives him 8 years, he's not that good. Okay, fine. But for the old majority, there's more money in the pool that's not wasted. And the top guys who are good after 5 years, well, now they're going to make more in year 6, 7, and 8, because they'll have a new contract than they would have on an 8-year deal. So it benefits everybody at the older ages. And I think eventually you'll see that from teams. Like, there's only, I counted right now, there's 67 players and 7 goalies for next season. And unfortunately, that includes a guy like Alex Pietrangelo and Torrey Krug, so it's not even active players who fall into that category of where they signed a 6, 7, or 8-year deal at the age of 28 years of age or older, right? There's not that many of them in the league. It's like 9.6% of the league. And I think that number is going to dwindle even more the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I've felt for a while that they should have the one player, like the franchise tag or something, that, you know, when McDavid sits off of the cap, you can pay that guy whatever you need to. You can give him the term or whatever you want. But one guy sits off of it so that you're able to have your guy. And if you have to, you get into a situation, you can pay him way more if you need to. I like that. And to me, that, like, for the rest of it, like 4 years is the perfect amount. Like 4 years, I feel like you have a real good idea of what that player's still going to be. And for the point on the player side that you made too is you get through your contract and you get your payday on the other side still. Like and that money's only going up, so that share is going to keep going. The thing I've always focused on, and I know most people don't care about it because you're always looking at the top of the lineup, but when it comes to the contracts and terms and all of this, to me, it's the league minimum that needs to be thrown up as all these dollars keep going. Like you're telling me a guy that's making 12 now needs to make 14, right? Yeah, they're bringing in a ton of those dollars, but maybe that minimum should get moved up to 1.5, or at least make sure that guy's making $1 million. You can look after the bottom part of the league a lot better.
Yeah, that's fair. You look at MLB, their first volley in their upcoming CBA negotiations was to have the minimum player salary go from $780 up to $1.5 million, right? Like that was one of the first things that they looked for. So,
and that's the best thing, and that's what it should be. The hard part is the majority of guys, or a lot of the guys that are working on the PA side that are active still, it is a lot of guys that are at the top or the better end of it.
That. Yes.
Right. And so it's hard when you have bubble guys because they're not going to be a player rep to be sitting in there and be like, hey, maybe throw us a couple extra shells at the bottom end of the pile here. We don't need to go up to 5, but a vet minimum like the NBA has, or just raising that minimum up, like it should happen as the league continues to grow at the top end.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And Norway, the Cinderella story continues. They just scored an empty net goal, and they are moving on to the semifinals at the World Hockey Championships. So good for them.
That's the best.
Yeah,
that's the best part of World Hockey, right? Like when it gets to the championships, is seeing a team like that go on a run.
Yeah. So I think they're playing. So I haven't seen if Slovak is the Switzerland game over, Cons? Do we know? Did Swiss win?
No, they're up 3-1.
Okay,
but there's 8 minutes left.
Okay, so they're probably going to win if we make a guesstimate on it.
Yeah.
So then they would play Norway, and Canada is going to play Finland on semifinal Saturday. So should be good.
Go.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Landon. Have yourself a great weekend.
Yeah, you as well.
There you go. That's Landon Ferraro. So Finland beats Czechia 4-1. Canada beat the U.S. 4-0. Norway just got rid of Latvia 2-0. And now Switzerland is leading Sweden 3-1 with about 7 minutes remaining. If that score stays the same, Swiss, who were the number 1 seed, they should get Norway, and Finland will take on Canada. And the Finns have looked really good. That's going to be a tough game for Canada. And obviously no Evan Bouchard, as he was hit in the head today by Ryan Lindgren, concussed, knocked out, and he is out of the tournament. Take a quick break. We'll return. Discuss. I'm liking what we got here with David coming up next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
A lot of you love hockey season. But when it comes to construction season, you're not as excited unless you work for GS Construction. It's true. As one season is winding down, ours is winding up with all sorts of great projects to make the city we live in better. And our team is hiring. GS Construction is scouting for pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. So if you want to score a great job, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a Park View rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
When thirst strikes and your energy begins to fade, one hero rises above the rest. Introducing the Superpower Smoothie from Booster Juice. A bright sun-charged burst of mangoes, bananas, and blue spirulina. An out-of-this-world smoothie, just in time for the new Supergirl movie. Discover your power and channel your inner superhero. Fly into your local Booster Juice and experience it for yourself today. And see Supergirl. Only in theaters June 26th.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
The puck is passed up through the neutral zone, and here's a breakaway. He's coming in hot. He shoots it. Oh no, a broken stick.
When it comes to performance, quality parts matter. Napa Auto Parts has all the reliable parts, tools, and more to keep your vehicle running like a playoff contender. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Emerald Equipment. Emerald Equipment is Edmonton's newest dealer for Yanmar compact equipment. Machines built tough for the jobs that don't quit. Get your new Yanmar compact track loaders with ASV Posi track at Emerald Equipment.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Connor Halley, always coming up with some beauty songs. Welcome back. Thursday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where, of course, stop in at PlayAlberta.ca. The Daily Grand, your chance to win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Pretty good. PlayAlberta.ca, nothing wrong with that. Woo, pretty nice. I like it. Also, stop in. You can check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boost. So we got some, of course, on the Jays tonight. Vladimir Guerrero, 2 total bases. Dare to dream. Dare to dream. And a little OKC. They're a pretty big underdog on the road tonight. So we'll go with them. And Shay to make a few 3-pointers. So check that out. As it's time now for Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Brook Liquor, your best location. If you're looking for wine, beer, coolers, or anything non-alcoholic, they have the best non-alcoholic selection in the city. 2 locations, Southside, and of course the original one on St. Albert Trail and 118th Avenue. As David Owens joins us once again, and today it's like the Spritz-tacular.
Yeah,
edition.
well, we're putting on the Spritz, right? Jeez. There it is.
Yeah, there
it is.
Yeah.
We're putting on the Spritz today. It's the Spritz-tacular. It's let's make this easy and keep everybody happy at the party or barbecue or just a lazy Sunday afternoon.
Give us a quick rundown. What's an official Spritz?
So the Spritz originally started back in the early 1800s, and then the Austrian soldiers, the Italian wine was too strong, so they started watering it down, and that was essentially the beginning of the spritz. And then in 1919, at a World Fair, a couple of Italians, they debuted the Aperol, and the Aperol spritz was born from that, and it's now the number one mixed cocktail on the planet.
What?
Fire, yeah.
Really? The
Most
Aperol
popular.
spritz is the most popular.
Aperol spritz, absolutely.
Really? So that's what we're having first here.
This is what we're having first. So we actually have and this is the proper, 3 ingredient, ratio pre-mixed for a Aperol spritz. It comes in at about 9% ABV for this little bottle. So it's got, it's got a little bit of a cocktail punch, but super simple, right? You crack the bottle.
Orange pop a bit.
A little bit, right? Crack a bottle, fill a glass with ice and an orange peel, and away you go.
First of all, I can't believe. So it's the most popular pre-mixed drink in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's one of the most popular cocktails, just period. The Aperol spritz.
Wow. Well, it's pretty smooth. Like it's
smooth. It's refreshing.
It's got bubbly taste to it. A slight little tartness to it.
Yeah, and so that's the Aperol that goes into that. So the Aperol, the recipe is essentially Genetian root, cinchona bark, rhubarb, citrus peel. That whole recipe has never changed.
What kind of root?
It's the Genetian root.
Genetian. Okay, I just wanted you to say the word again.
Yeah,
Genetian. Okay.
Yeah, I got that
big
right.
word.
It is a big word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't changed since that's your bitter for that. So
this is an Aperol spritz.
And that's the Aperol spritz.
Right. Now the next one we have here is a Lulu.
That's right.
Spritz aperitif.
That's right. So this is out of Quebec, actually.
Okay.
Maison de Futali. My French is, how awesome it is. But this is it's been, it's Pinot Grigio, some tonic water, and a bitter orange natural flavors. So it's similar to an Aperol spritz, but this, you can see the colors are pretty similar. It's a little bit darker.
Yep.
And you're gonna find there's a little bit more citrus in this one, I think.
Yes, quite a bit more citrus. I find it's a little smoother drinking.
It's almost like a blood orange kind of thing going on in there, right?
Yeah.
Compared to it. So it's just, it's another great, and Lulu's have just taken over this market by storm here in Canada. This is one of our top selling.
The Lulu spritz.
The Lulu spritz.
I can honestly say I've never seen. Now, obviously, I'm not the spritz drinker, but it's pretty flavorful. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like I've never had one before.
I
can see how people like it.
I have friends that yell at me weekly if they happen to be in our store and we're out of it. Because it's people, they've got people at home that they are married to that get extremely mad if they don't get their Lulus in. So the Lulu spritz.
So you have the Lulu spritz. Do you have to wear Lululemon while you drink the Lulu spritz? Or?
I mean, it'd be pretty awesome if you did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There you go.
Now we have an Italian spritz.
Yeah. So this is the Sicilian lemon. So we're switching up the flavor profile right now. So this is out of Toronto. So this is all Meyer lemons, lemon peel, hence some thyme.
It's clear, but it definitely tastes like lemon. Like that is very lemony.
Very lemony, but like not that's not like pucker by any means. It's just a really nice balance of that. And so, again, into a wine glass.
It's lemon, but it's so clear. Like it looks like water.
Wine glass over ice. Put a little lemon peel into it, or a little slice of lemon wedge. Delicious.
What about if you grind a little lemon?
You could do a little lemon rind in there, kind of thing. You could throw a little thyme sprig in there. It would be really lovely.
A thyme sprig.
Really? A thyme sprig. Thyme.
Oh, okay. Right? I got thyme, but I don't have the sprigs.
Well, there you go.
Now is this Lem Secco spritz?
Yeah. So this is an Australian company now. We're moved to this. This is their vintage Lem Secco spritz.
It's quite the big. So it comes in this big bottle.
It comes in that big bottle. So it's
bottle.
Have a good party, right?
Ooh, yeah.
So this is all about sweet lemon up front, a zesty tart finish, and just as they say, a lemmy icy pole quality.
See, now I like that one the best, I think. Right. Much more of a like a pure lemon flavor. Yes.
You're getting that tartness.
Yes. Yeah.
To me, pucker factor.
Yeah, like lemon needs a little bit of tartness automatically. Yeah. So I would say I like that one for
That's
sure.
That's pretty top notch.
And that is really good.
Agreed. And that's
like alcoholic lemonade. It's basically
pretty much it is alcoholic lemonade. Yes. 9.5%. This one. And
Ooh,
we've had some people have comment to us. They actually love mixing it with ginger ale.
What?
Ginger ale. And so, and I can see how the ginger and stuff in there and that lemon would actually
Like a
go really, really
1-to-1
nicely.
ratio?
Oh, no. They just sort of top it with that. You
Just
do
top
mostly
it a
this
little
with
bit
a
of
little bit of ginger ale.
Okay.
And if it's just slightly too tart for you, which I would disagree with myself.
Yeah, I
and
don't think it's that
personally, just even a little soda water to dilute it down a little bit, you'd be bang, solid with that. It'd be great.
It's funny. It's like that bottle should be sold at Superstore.
It kind of
looks like a no-name Superstore
It looks
brand,
like that, but
right?
yeah, it's a brand new product this year. We've only had it in for about a
It's
month and a half or so.
good.
It's really, really good.
I have to say I like it. Now, we have the little Bizarro.
Yeah, Bizarro. So this is another Australian company.
Like it's a small, first of all, this is for anybody who has small hands.
That's right.
It's a very short,
Mhm.
like a stubby can.
Looks like a stubby.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're great little stubby here. And this is a strawberry
Yeah,
yuzu.
Strutty would like this.
Strutty
Strutty's little girl
would-
hands. He'd like
his hands would be huge.
Yeah.
With it.
Well, they could actually wrap it around the can.
That's
fine.
right.
Yeah, that'd be good. Good step up for
Yeah.
Struts. And so this is a strawberry. What is
Strawberry.
yuzu?
Yuzu's
Oh,
a
yuzu, sorry.
Yeah, yuzu's it's kind of a citrusy type orange type like thing, fruit from Japan, Asian areas. Oh, that's strawberry. Right off the top, that nose.
Yep. If you like strawberry, you would like this. I don't really. Now, granted, I don't know what yuzu's supposed to taste like, but it tastes more strawberry to me than yuzu.
Oh, that's like a Jolly Rancher.
You know what? That's actually that might be in your best comparison of taste.
That is a Jolly Rancher.
A Jolly Rancher. God, I haven't had a Jolly Rancher in a long
Right?
time, but I remember what they tasted like.
That's
And
a
then,
Jolly
remember the Jolly Rancher? You couldn't chew, you couldn't bite it.
No.
It was so
hard. Yeah.
You had to suck on
You
it.
had to, and then it would like tear apart your tongue
Oh, a
and
little
your
bit,
roof
yeah.
your mouth a little bit
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah, there was the-
Because you had 15.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
yeah.
be tough to
Oh,
have
man.
multiple Jolly Ranchers.
Those are good days. Good days.
God, I haven't had Jolly Rancher long. Did they even sell Jolly Ranchers?
Oh yeah, Jolly Rancher huge still. Huge. Yeah.
And then
Kids-
lastly, now Wander, is this because I've seen the Fox
Yeah.
on a lot of different places.
All right. So this is we're getting a little bit more local. This is Blind Man.
Okay.
Blind Man Brewing out of Lacombe. This is their citrus gin spritz.
Okay.
And this one plays really nice too. It's only 4.5%, zero sugar. Just all really lovely.
Yeah, the zero
natural stuff.
sugar is a selling point for a lot of
Selling
people.
point for a lot of people.
Keep it tight, boys and girls. Keep
Mhm,
it tight.
And they're moving to that sort of RTD category. So that's just a nice, simple citrus gin spritz. Not too sweet.
No,
over the
not
top,
sweet, not
but
sweet at all, really.
Not at all.
Just kind of very.
So for people that like,
not a big flavor.
For people that are like more, like a gin and soda drinker versus a gin and tonic drinker, this is so far up your alley. It's crazy.
See, I'm a big gin sonic drinker.
Yeah. Me
Half
too.
soda, half tonic.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
what I do now.
Yeah.
The gin sonic. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It just cuts the sweetness of the
Yes.
tonic down just a
Yeah.
little bit. And I'm all over that. And I also
fewer calories a little bit. So
calories. Yeah.
don't feel as guilty as much. But if I have to pick one today, though, I'm going with the Lem Secco.
That one's the banger.
The Lem Secco is like they're all different tastes. None of them are what I like. None of them are like I don't like sweet drink. I don't want to drink sweet.
Yeah.
Right. And none of them were sweet.
None of them are sweet.
If you
so-
like sweets, you probably won't like these.
like I said, it's
Right.
super.
This one was probably the sweetest, right? The Blizzaro.
Yeah, that's
I
probably
would
the
think
most
so.
sweet. Yeah, but they're all super fresh. They're all they're all pleasers, right? There's not one here that's offensive. Any crowd's gonna like them. You put it out into your cooler at the in the backyard. Someone's gonna be happy with it, with one or the other along the way for sure.
I still can't believe that the Aperol Spritz is the most popular drink globally.
Yeah,
when it comes to pre-made.
If you doesn't matter where you travel, you can I get an Aperol Spritz? You know exactly what to do.
Really? Eh?
Yeah, you will get it everywhere.
Clearly, I'm not that well-rounded in it.
Well, you got to get out traveling a little bit more, maybe.
Clearly, I
Take
do.
some time off, get a good vacation in.
Yeah. So I like it. Well, there you go. So you can check it out. We'll have all the bottles and the cans. You can see them online on our socials and go to sherbrooklliquor.com. And it's right there on the front page.
Yep.
You can see the blog. So if you want to check out the ones that we tried, as mentioned, the Blizzaro, the strawberry one, not super sweet, but definitely the sweetest one.
Definitely the sweetest one.
Lem Secco lemon, very good. The Lulu Spritz, though,
The
that
Lulu's
one was
top
secret.
notch.
Like they're very underrated good.
Yes.
Yeah. I can see why people like the Lulu.
People keep coming back to that over and over and over again.
And I think if you drink the Lulu, your Lulus fit better.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And
it's not being scientifically proven, but that's what we're getting.
every single one of these, if you felt like you needed to add a little bit more gin, you could totally do it. Just,
a little splash of gin.
Just a little splash of gin.
Yeah. I could see that.
Right? Make your Sunday
That's
just a little
going
bit
to make
lazier.
your party a little bit quicker for sure.
Yeah.
I like it.
Or lazier, one of the two.
Ooh, touche.
Right?
Touche. Dave, who do you Carolina is going to the Cup final, I assume?
Oh, I have a hard time thinking Montreal is going to get it sorted out by now.
No.
That just that got pretty ugly pretty quick.
The last 3 games have been
I
think very controlling by Carolina. So it looks like they win tomorrow, which I think a lot of us expect that they do. Then the Stanley Cup final will start next Tuesday in Carolina against the Vegas Golden Knights. Their 3rd trip to the final in 9 years.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
They've been in the league 9 years. Like, talk about a fan base that has never experienced what it feels like to have a crappy team.
No, not
like they missed the playoffs once, but they weren't like I think they missed the playoffs by a few points.
Yeah,
Like,
super
they've
fortunate.
never been a brutal team where you're in January and you're like, God, our team sucks. Because every fan base has experienced that. I don't care if you're a CFL fan, NFL fan, MLB fan, NBA fan. It's part of being a fan is at some point your team stinks.
Hey, we still get it every single year. Even when we go to the Stanley Cup finals. We get 1 month, it's going to stink.
Yeah, well, it stings, but yeah, that's true. That's very true. Dave, have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too.
There you go. That is David Owens from Sherbrooke Liquor. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They say they're on the road together. They mean it. From tires, wheels, oil changes to automotive repairs. Visit fountaintire.com. Find out more.
This is a sports 1440 update.
Some promotions with the Edmonton Oilers today. Michael Parkogany, Vice President of Analytics and Technology. Kurt Hill, former Oil Kings GM, is now the Assistant GM with Player Procurement. Kelly Larson, Assistant GM in Player Development and Innovation. While Tommy Salalainen, Assistant GM at European Development. Michael Chan, promoted within the Oil Kings organization to President, GM, and WHL Alternate Governor with the Oil Kings. Over in Europe, Men's World Championship, Canada shuts out the United States 4-0. With that, they will advance to the semifinal on Saturday, where they'll meet Finland. The other semi will have Norway taking on Switzerland. In the game, Evan Bouchard left after taking a illegal hit to the head from Ryan Lindgren, who was given a game misconduct on the play. In the association tonight, it is Game 6, Spurs Thunder from San Antonio. Tip-off at 6:30. OKC leading 3-2. And in the majors, Jays get the Orioles at 4:35. We'll join that game in progress on our AMP. Just one game underway right now. Braves, Red Sox scoreless in the 3rd. Earlier today was the Angels over the Tigers 7-1, and the Twins falling to the White Sox 6-2. Just 2 other games tonight, including the Cubs and the Pirates, while the Rangers hosting the Astros. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Terry Ryan, also Hall of Fame rep and author Bill McCreary, and we'll speed things up in the Cantor Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play.
And how are you?
Use your game sense.
Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
Hello,
Skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection slamming products from the best
Thursday
brands
edition of the
and
Gregor Show.
legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at
find out
EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
It doesn't start on game day. It starts before kickoff, before the first snap. It starts with you locking in your season seats. This is Edmonton Elks football. The only way to experience it is being there for every hit, catch, and touchdown. The Elks home opener kicks off June 20th against Montreal. Your season seats are your way in. Get yours now at goelks.com/season seats. Edmonton Elks. Our city, our year.
Big guests, bigger
Dave?
tickets. Jason
There you
Gregor
go, that
brings
is-
the names
Yeah,
you
you do.
know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. No one's ever accused car shopping to be fun. I mean, think about it. Awkward standoffs to get a price. Let me go talk to my manager. Dealers asking for your credit card, then melting your phone if you say no. See, not fun. At Northgate, I promise you a different experience. We make it fun. And you will like us, I promise. 0% financing, a great selection of new and pre-owned units. So for some fun, stop in today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
1, 2, 3.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in technology, techniques, skills, and people that know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Just after 3 o'clock, how you doing? On a lovely Thursday, beautiful day outside in the, well, if you're in the Edmonton area, for sure. Hope you're enjoying it, whatever you're doing. But enjoy the weather, and because hey, if the weather prognosticators are accurate, we're going to get a little bit of rain coming in starting Sunday. Like, did you see the amount of rain they're predicting for a few days? So. Something like maybe up to 120 mils, which seems like a lot, right? 12 centimeters. Do the math on that. What are we talking? Like four, almost 5 inches. So if it happens, is that a record? No, but it's above average. It's Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Donnie P just got that joke. There you go. I like it. He's paying attention here in studio alongside, Connor Halley. Conzo, you tried the Lemsecco Dave got you to try. What'd you think?
The lemon, it lives up to that. It's very good. Goes down easy. In the words of Donnie P, that could be dangerous. And I think that's kind of the key for a summertime drink, isn't it? Goes down easy, could sneak up on you. That's how you know it's a good one. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Did you hear the recent, I don't know if you saw the Kelly McCrimmon interview. So Kelly McCrimmon, quote, "It's only news because Edmonton leaked it." So he's trying to claim that Edmonton leaked the story before they had fired their own coach. I love it. The Vegas, like, why didn't we just have an Edmonton? Like, I'll say this. The thing that bothers me most about the Edmonton Oilers is that they never went after Alex Pietrangelo for his slash on Leon Draisaitl. That always bothered me. I'm sorry. You play in a team. The fact that he never had to answer the bell in any regular season game afterwards before his career ended due to his injury last year. I thought that was a fail by the team. But if Vegas and Edmonton rivalry is stoking up off of the ice, sign me up. We need more rivalries in the league. Have more animosity. Have people getting fired up leading to games. Awesome. But that's a classic line from Kelly McCrimmon. It's only news because Edmonton leaked. Oh, that is awesome stuff. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. The Daily Grand tonight, $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. $7.3 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As we welcome to the show, Terry Ryan. TR, where do you come out on? Were you like, I still think the fact that Pietrangelo, when he went down and thought he was Paul Bunyan with an axe chop right on Leon Draisaitl, he never had to pay. I get that nothing happened in the moment. It's in the playoffs. I get it. You want to win. But I can't believe for the next two regular seasons, they never did anything. Maybe I'm too old school, but I thought that was a fail by the team.
Yeah, interesting you brought that up. It came up on my podcast, and I've recently gone back to look at it. But the playoffs.
That's why I said do it in the regular season. I don't care. You don't have to do it in the playoffs, but why couldn't you have gotten back in the, like you had two regular seasons before he retired that you could have said, okay, you know what? We remember, now you're going to get it.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that. Yeah, because it was pretty violent. But yeah, some things are head scratchers. I'm not really sure. We're talking about, speaking of suspensions, and I'll get to Claude Lemieux in a little bit. Rest in peace. But remember when he hit Draper and he got 2 games for that? I think. Am I wrong there? I think.
Yeah, I think it might have only been 2 at the time. Yeah,
I think there might have been. So there's been some questionable calls. I think the consistency is the inconsistency. But I mean, what's happened in the past. I don't mean to tarnish Claude Lemieux, great player, and I'll get in. I got a great story, but and he was just a phenomenal player for so many reasons. But I was just thinking about that. The topic of suspensions came up in the playoffs, and it seems that same thing. Suspensions are one thing. That's all an overreaching. Falls under the umbrella of officiating, right? And look at the officials. You see the Montreal too many men the other night. I mean, that's one that you'd figure definitely would be called, but there's different rules in the playoffs, I guess.
Yeah, well, that overtime they let a lot go. There's no question about it. The carry hit, I probably thought on Hudson is one they could have called. It was clearly too many men on the ice for Montreal. There's no debate.
Yeah, those I don't get. Like, that's to me as cut and dry as puck over the glass.
Yes, that's totally fair. So yes, there is bad news for Claude Lemieux today. 60 years of age, unfortunately, passed away. Took his own life, which is awful. Had some demons. But you got a Claude Lemieux story for us?
Yeah. Okay, so that's the first I heard. I was wondering what had happened. It was 96 Canada World Cup. And I had no reason. Like, I went to the rinks. It was in Montreal. This particular, I know the final was in Montreal, and at least they were set up shop there. I don't remember how many other games were in Montreal. I remember watching some of it there. And anyway, everybody was gone. It was really early. I just came in to get my stuff out of the stall because Team Canada were using it. Anyway, I came out of the and there was nobody there. So I said, you know what? I'll just get in the steamer. There's nobody around. It's an off day. So I got in the steamer, and then sure enough, he came in. There was nobody else. First or last, there was nobody there for 3 hours. It was just me and him. And anyway, I was really intimidated because, this guy, there was a lot going on, a lot of layers to that. I mean, it was just Montreal. He was a legend for having won the cup and doing so well when they did. And then there was Team Canada, and then there was the presence and his whole aura of being a winner, but a guy that you hate to play against, but love to play with. Anyway, he just came in, and whatever I brought up, he just said, "Hey kid, do you mind not talking about hockey for a while?" And we just talked about music and Canada. And then when I came out of the steamer, he's using my stall. That was the whole thing. So I went to, my like clothing stall, right? Out back. So I just went to take things out of there. That was it. Like, I remember one was a pair of snakeskin boots, and he laughed at that. We just had a great conversation. And then a few times over the years, just being in the Montreal alumni circles with fundraisers or whatever, I got to know him. And, he just, I don't know if he had a soft spot for me or whatever, but he always, he gave me the time of day and then some. And, not that you asked, but I hope I don't want to not get there, because I remember looking at it, and he won 4 cups with 3 different teams, right? So, because it's one thing to win a few cups. And in Montreal, a lot of the guys that you would meet in the alumni room, a lot of them had multiple cups, but they were like with Montreal, right? Like and his weren't like, he didn't hook on with a dynasty. He's got 4 all separated. The only 2 that are close are still 2 different teams, because he won in 86. And then the mid 90s, he was in New Jersey and Colorado and won 1 in each place. So like, he didn't just hook on to a winner there. And then he comes back years later and wins again. Like Mike Keane was another guy. So I always, when we're in that alumni room over the years, and I've met and spoken with these guys, him and Mike Keane always stand out to me, because they got 3 different cups with 3 different teams. They were traded for, and that, we know how hard it is to get one. I'm speaking to the audience in Edmonton with the best player in the world that has done his job while they've gone to and they still haven't won, right? Like, so imagine being the guy with the reputation that you go out and trade for, bring him in, and then wins it. Like, it's a real feather in his cap, and I'll extend it to Mike Keane. Just guys that I came across in my time, they're going, wow, like, these guys were traded for at the deadline. And again, I will always say, or right before the deadline in Keane's last case, but I'll always say, like, it always happens that all these teams need scorers, and they sign for so big money. And even when it comes to Norris Trophy talk, it's usually points. Is a big part of it. Bouchard is an anomaly. An outlier, but it is a big part of it. But yet at the trade deadline, when you need to win the Stanley Cup, those kind of guys are always the kind of guys. And right up to today, you can look at people who the last few years, I don't need to go into it. How many players get traded because like they're a two-way player and they're a winner? Well, these guys were like ultimate. They were like the huge players to get to it, to attain, because they were so good for the team. And then, Lemieux is so obvious, been public enemy number 1, and such a weasel on the ice when he did it. But when you talk to people that he knows, like, I'm sure I haven't looked, it just happened. I've had a lot on the go today, but I'm sure the Canadians community is devastated. When anybody passes away that's part of that culture is one thing, but he meant a lot to his teammates. I saw it firsthand, and I love that my favorite Claude Lemieux story is one that he just asked me not to talk about hockey. You know how much I talk, and I was probably asking him, about his junior stats. Huge in junior too. I was aware of that coming in. I don't remember, but I know he had like 150 points or something, 130 or something. I just know, and he fought a lot. Was a weasel out there. I know that because he played junior when I was just coming in to know what that was. So anyway, rest in peace.
He also won in junior too, right? His 3rd year with Verdun. He won
with Verdun, yeah.
Verdun, excuse me. So this guy has won in a lot of different places, no question about it. And unfortunately for him, and really for his wife and 4 kids, that's obviously was going through some stuff at the age of 60, and was just there in Montreal for Game 3 and brought out the torch. And I'm sure there'll be some conversations about everything there, and we just unfortunate for him. And the Montreal fans, I saw Darren McCarty, of course, had a great rivalry with Claude, and had a really classy quote about it. And he said, "Hey, Claude on the ice was a real, jerk, whatever, but off the ice, totally different guy." And and lots of guys are like that. TR, I'm sure you played against guys like, man, I want to literally on the ice, I want to just crush this guy. And then you get to meet him off the ice, you're like, he's a really good dude. Like, there's lots of people like when the game's on, you're there to compete and you're there to win, and win by any means necessary for some of them.
100%. I'll often say it. I mean, we're on speaking to an Edmonton audience with Western League. You know, the best example, I play with him, Darcy Tucker. You know, I can't explain enough how, you know, when you're out there playing against them, and I remember in practice, you know, and I'm not saying you go hard in practice, but like a high stick or whatever, or getting chirped, go get hard. But like Tux, I remember in practice was chirping me, and like I just remember getting at first pretty pissed off about it, and then realized that I'm like, this is him though. This is what if he wasn't like that, then he wouldn't be here sitting across from me in the NHL dressing room, because he's not. That's what makes him tick. Like, that's what makes him from good to great to like a super duper NHL pest / two-way player. And the same thing for Claude Lemieux. Like, you know, if they weren't like that, and sometimes it goes over the line, but that's it. If they didn't play like that, they wouldn't be the winners that they are. And to me, the story's told by the people in your own dressing room. If they still don't like you, and you won despite them, that's happened. I won't bring up names, but that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, when you talk to these people that, you know, that look on they're playing what they are is when they're being, you know, somewhat unsportsmanlike at times, or, you know, I use the word weasel. You know, I mean that metaphorically, but when they're out there doing that, you know, that's what's making them a good teammate. They're going in the room and the guys love them. And you know, I think that it sometimes goes without saying, but not all the time. And with Claude Lemieux, I think some people wondered. Well, I'm telling you right now that people, his friends and teammates really love the guy.
We're going to take break. TR coming up next. NHL official Hall of Famer and now author Bill McCreary joins us next. We're going to talk about his career, his book, and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for three-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
May brings more of what you're looking for at Wolf GMC Buick. The selection never better. The savings up to $12 grand when you combine cash discounts on your new 2026 Sierra 1500 pickup. Up to $1,750 in cash rebates on remaining 2025 Terrain SUVs. Plus 0% financing up to 72 months on most models. And ask about the truck trade-in bonus of up to $1,500 on select new in-stock Sierra 1500s.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Mr. Rooter gets attacked by a Canada goose.
Oh, look at that. Another on-time arrival. Nothing stops Mr. Rooter from plumbing on schedule. You gotta be kidding me. Hello, Mr. Goose. I'm Mr. Rooter. Okay, this is what you train for. Through rain, sleet, or goose, the pipes get fixed.
For a plumber who does whatever it takes, Mr. Rooter.
Novo Blinds is your home ice advantage for window coverings. Edmonton's own custom manufacturer with over 300 5-star reviews from homeowners, builders, and commercial contractors. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
At Papa John's, get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu.
menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, order off the Papa Pairings menu and save. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacing, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Hear that? That's your entry calling. Go Auto is sending you to the biggest football event in the world, live in Vancouver, with tickets, flights, and a hotel stay for two. To enter the contest, just text GAME to 780-777-7777. That's GAME to 780 all sevens. Go Auto, get in the game.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Cheers. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We return on a lovely Thursday afternoon. How you doing? Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's the Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you want to get in the game. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. And remember, Thursday, Daily Grand. Get your tickets, $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. PlayAlberta.ca. As we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, of course, just on the south side of Edmonton, just off the highway. And coming up later on this year, Gene Simmons in concert, very intimate little room down at Silent Ice Center. It's going to be an awesome venue. Get your tickets, silenticecenter.com. And we are joined by a gentleman who holds the NHL record for most playoff games officiated all time with 297. In case you're wondering, the closest is Don Karski, 266. Active refs, Kelly Sutherland, 252. So he'd have a few years to try to catch him. He's a third all-time in regular season games with 1,737, and he's the only official who was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame this century. Bill McCreary joins us, and now he's an author. Bill, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me. Doing very well. Thank you.
Hey, Bill, quite a career, man. I guess I want to go back, and we'll get to the book in a second, but when did you recognize that reffing and officiating was something that, A, you were good at, and B, you wanted to do?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I played some junior hockey, but my skill set was pretty low. And once I recognized the only draft I was going to get was the kind you buy at the local pub, I realized it was time to turn my thinking to something else. So I lived in Guelph, Ontario when I finished playing junior with my mother. And there was, at the time, I think it was 5 active and 2 retired officials living in Guelph that had worked as officials in the National Hockey League. So they really encouraged me to get involved. And that was sort of the start of everything. So I was very lucky.
Okay. So you never officiated, obviously, until a little bit later on. What was the hardest thing what's the hardest thing about officiating?
Well, I think the hardest thing about officiating is walking out the door and leaving your family all the time. I think the travel, the off days are really hard to put in. And after you go to the cities, 2 or 3 times and see all the highlights, it just becomes old hat. So you really have to have some discipline, do some working out, reading, just have a real routine that takes up a lot of time on your off days.
Okay. Your book just came out. Great book. I'm not finished it, but I got it just last week. Stories from Ice Level, a great NHL referee tells all. Why was now the right time for you to share your stories about your time in the NHL?
Well, I never ever thought of writing a book. I never ever thought of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I just, I had 29 good years on the ice, 13 years supervising, and my wife and daughter, especially my daughter, kept bugging me to do a book. And Rob Simpson, who's the author here, he did a tremendous job in promoting himself to me. And a couple of years ago, he flew to my house here in we live north of Toronto, a couple of hours, and we spent 2 days together and just talked about hockey. And he did such a good job with putting this all together. He deserves all the credit.
DR?
Mr. McCreary, I'm curious what a game day, I've never asked an official, what does a game day in the NHL, if you're an official, look like?
Well, game days, usually you get up in the morning and probably you run into some of your teammates in the coffee shop and have a coffee together, maybe some breakfast, off to the gym and work out. And then it's lunch. And then the afternoon is yours to do what you want to do. I didn't do a lot of sleeping. I did a lot of reading, studying of the game. I wanted to know more about the players, the coaches. So I was always reading articles and trying to, learn more about the game and the players and the coaches in the game. So just so that I was prepared when I got to the arena to go to work and do a half-assed job.
Are there some big ways the culture has changed as far as officiating goes in your career?
One of the biggest things I think that's changed is, and it goes back to the introduction to the 2-referee system. When we started it full blast in 99, 2000, you lose, first of all, as a referee, you lose control of the game because you're sharing it with your partner. But secondly, you lose the identity with the players. The players you don't know them as well. They all charter now after the games. We used to stay in the same hotels at one time, so we got to know one another. And it wasn't just, it's not about liking someone, it's about respecting someone. And you gain that respect on the ice. And when you run into them in the hotel lobby or sitting having a coffee or maybe an adult beverage after the game, it was interesting to get to know people in a different light as opposed to in the emotionally charged games. So I don't think that takes place anymore. I know it doesn't. The players and officials don't know each other as well. And I think that's something that's been lost in the game.
Bill McCreary joins us. Bill, you had quite a career. You were part of obviously the most playoff games ever by an official. You were on the ice for the Golden Goal in Vancouver in 2010. And obviously you officiated many of the greatest players of all time. But you also, like, as a ref, like, there's some people that get pretty fired up at officials. And back then, when you first started, like, I think it's actually good to have the ref's name on the back of their jersey. But obviously, you know, there's some death threats and stuff to go along with it. Were you ever nervous? Like, what was the worst situation you were involved with, just like an overzealous fan?
Well, I think it's been well documented. I think TSN still has it as one of the top 10. When the fan climbed up the glass in Boston and jumped on the ice, I guess he was going to punch me. I mean, I didn't know he climbed up the glass and fallen on the ice, and he was running towards me. So I guess that particular fan may have had too many Pepsis during the game. I'm not sure that he hated me that much, but he certainly didn't like the call I missed. So you know, I always respected the fans because without the fans, we don't have the game. And I met a lot of wonderful people in my 29 years on the ice, you know, invited to their houses at the American Thanksgiving when you're on the road and different things like that. It just met a lot of wonderful people. And so for the very, very few that gives it a bad rap, it's overwhelming the amount of wonderful fans that you get to meet.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming 99% of them were great. What about guys, like, as an official, who, like, when you're watching, you officiated, like, you know, Gretzky, Lemieux, you go down the list of all those guys, Crosby, et cetera, you know, greatest of the greats. When you're officiating, was there ever a time where you're like, okay, I got a ref here, like, I'm getting caught up in watching the player?
Well, when I first started, and of course, Montreal had the big three on defense, and Lafleur and Cornway, and I can tell you one of the things that happened that I was shocked at, I think it was my second year refereeing, in a lot of the old arenas, the referee's room was next door to the visiting team's room, and there was a knock on the door at the end of the first period. Being the junior man, it was a three-man system. That was just one of the rules. You answered the door. So I get up and I open the door, and there's Guy Lafleur standing, 2 cigarettes, one in each hand, and said, "Can I come in?" And I went, I almost said, like, you're in the wrong room. But then I realized it actually happened. And we had 21 linesmen, and I think 15 or 16 of them smoked back in those days. So I said, yeah, come on in. So he came in, sat down, he huffed and puffed, and those guys talked, and he got rid of his 2 cigarettes and went back on the ice, and you would never know that he was in our dressing room. So, I mean, it was a crazy time back then. And I was like, what the hell is going on? But anyway, there he was sitting in the referee's room smoking, and he wasn't the only guy. So L.I. Frady often knocked on your door and said, can I come and have a smoke? So it was a different time. Obviously, it would never happen today. But, and to his credit as a professional, I mean, never said a word to you on the ice. You wouldn't even know he was in our room. So it was quite an experience.
Who was the player that got it, you know, maybe was the most vocal with you over your career?
Well, there was lots of guys that would get emotional, but for the most part, they were very respectful. You know, there was guys that would give you a headache, and I mean, Sean Avery was a real tough customer to deal with. He would get under the skin of the players because he'd get personal. I always found that something that was unacceptable in the game, and so him and I, we butted heads. Obviously, I respected him and his talent and what he did for the game and for his teammates. I understand his teammates really liked him on the teams that he played on, but he was tough to officiate. He was a very difficult individual to deal with.
TR?
How do you stay impartial when the fans are going bonkers like Montreal last night? Did you have to teach yourself that early on, or does it come naturally?
No, you know what? I was very fortunate. I worked with a lot of senior linesmen, and they taught me how to be a pro on the ice and a pro off the ice. And, you know, last night when you watched that game unfold, you could see frustration setting in and players taking, you know, the liberties of the extra punch and you know, the silly cross checks and high sticks that took place. I mean, very uncharacteristic of any team and of those players particularly. And watching Marty St. Louis, who was nothing but a class act, you could see the expressions on his face every time they got called for a penalty. And when he looked at the replay, he stood there and he didn't have an answer for what was happening. And so it's about controlling your emotions. And when you're officiating those games, you do the best you can you have to protect the other team too, because you know, they don't deserve to be injured from somebody who's lost their emotional state.
Yeah, I can imagine guys would get pretty heated and pretty frustrated, Bill. And where do you come out on the 2 referee system? As guy, like, is one referee better, or like everybody says, oh, the game's faster now, you need 2 officials? Where do you come out on that?
Well, we have to be really careful how we say the game is faster. There's certain people that can certainly skate, like Connor McDavid is an incredible skater, and there's other players, not just Connor. But let's dial back into the 80s. I mean, can you tell me that Guy Lafleur and Cornway weren't fast with the puck?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, people forget this. When the red line was removed, the puck now can be passed 140 feet and still onside. When the red line was in play and it was an offside call at center ice, you had to keep your head up, because first of all, the defenseman had to make 2 or 3 passes to get the puck to where it needed to go. But when you received it as a forward, you're going to get hit. And I mean, you knew that. And the other team's defense stood up. It was a harder game. And the defensemen were much more skilled because of that. Again, when you go back and look at the big 3 in Montreal and Dennis Spotman and his partner there in the island, and just all through the league, all the great defensemen that played, Raymond Bourque, and just such wonderful, and we fast forward into the Brian Leach era and people like that who were just tremendous talents. And I was so lucky to be on the ice with them all.
So you look at your career, and obviously, it's a Hall of Fame career, Bill. It's fantastic. You were highly respected by lots of different. Do you have, from ice level, what was like the one game after, just like, damn, like that was a really good game, man? Am I excited that I got to be part of that game?
Well, I can honestly tell you, I never understood the Olympics until 1998 when the pros wanted a group of us to go to the Olympics in Nagano. And when I refereed Czechoslovakia against Russia in the gold medal game, I never understood the hatred that those 2 countries had for one another. And I think we started off the game with 5 or 6 stick foul penalties. And finally it settled down. But I mean, the Russians outshot them. It was an incredible number. And of course, the Czechs had Dominik Hasek, and he was like a stone wall. And it was an experience for me, because I didn't understand for European players way back then, the gold medal was the Stanley Cup for them. So it was a different culture, different mindset. And then, but the greatest thrill is to have your boss tell you you're going to referee Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah. There's so very few of them if you go back and look at the history.
Yeah.
And to be selected to do that, the only game in the world, it is a remarkable reward and an unbelievable experience to be part of.
Now, you mentioned the 98 Olympics. That was the first. That was also the time Dominik Hasek was unreal for Czechoslovakia back then, Czechia. And there's always kind of the story that did Hasek, did he ask you if Gretzky was shooting? Is that a true story?
True story. Yeah. He skated over me, and I had no idea what the hell we were doing. We were flipping coins, and linesmen were skating to the benches for pieces of paper. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like this, it was like minor hockey. Anyway, we finally get the shooters, and Dominic said, Billy, is Gretzky shooting? I go, Dominic, I don't have the list. The last one's got it, right? So anyways, that's all he was concerned about, if Wayne was shooting or not. And I never, ever asked him. And we got inducted together. I guess I should have asked him. But I think he was leery. And you guys know from the history, Wayne, would often take a slap shot on a breakaway, right? So I think that's what he was leery of, that Wayne would come in and do that.
Okay.
And so, but again, we all know the story. He never shot. And but Dom he was unbelievable in that tournament. And I remember flying over Gerard Gauthier and Ray Scampanello and I, 2 senior linesmen. And I said to them, we'd fallen asleep and woke up, fallen asleep, woke up. And I said to them, who do you guys think will win this, Canada or U.S.? I mean, you looked at those 2 teams and they were stacked, right? And they both said, no, Czechoslovakia. And I thought, oh man, you guys have had too much to drink on this flight. And Scamp said, no, they got Dominic, Billy. And sure enough, he was the difference in the whole tournament, right?
Yeah. Well, he was so unorthodox, but
yes.
I think he also I remember talking to players that time. They said, like, he could get into the head of shooters unlike any other goalie they'd ever played against. Like, he just seemed to rattle guys, and they'd be like, I don't know what this guy's doing. I don't know where I'm shooting. And they were kind of defeated before it even began.
Well, when you see a goaltender drop the stick and play, try to grab the puck with his blocker hand, or I mean, he didn't know what the hell he was doing somersaults and flipping his pads up in the air, but somehow he was able to stay connected and make all those incredible saves that he did. And, he was a funny guy to be on the ice with. He just did it every night. It was fun to watch, fun to be a part of.
Bill McCurry joins us, of course. Bill has a book out. I highly recommend it if you want to hear stories from ice level, a great NHL referee. Of course, most games officiated in the playoffs in NHL history, third most regular season games. The only official to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame this century is Bill McCurry. So, Bill, when you look back, and I know this is going to be a tough question, but you mentioned those game sevens, but is there a moment in your career, or is there a time of your career where you're most proud of what you were as an official?
Well, there's a lot of moments, and I'll be very honest with you. The IHF would never allow an official to officiate his home country in a championship game. And in 2002, they called them directorates at that time. I think it's a fancy name for supervisors with a maybe vice president title, but they sat around a boardroom 2 days before the gold medal game, and they would submit names and who they wanted to referee. And to his credit, Craig Patrick kept submitting my name, and he was the general manager of the U.S. team, and they kept saying, no, he's Canadian, he can't work. And Craig said, no, we want him. So he submitted my name again. And I guess the third time he submitted my name, he said, that's what we want to referee. And finally they gave in. And so I'm very proud of the fact that now, whether you're from Finland or Sweden or Canada or the U.S., you can referee your country if they're in a championship game. So I'm very proud that I broke that tradition.
Okay.
And following that game and the completion of that game, unsolicited, I think it was 13 or 14 U.S. players skated across the ice and shook my hand. Now, you got to understand, they just lost in the gold medal game, so they're not happy and congratulate me on such a great game. So I'll never forget that. It was something that I will always remember.
Bill, what would you say for anybody, young officials out there, what's the best trait you need to be a successful official?
Well, obviously, skating is number one, but most people know that. And you've probably worked your way up to the junior ranks or somewhere in that area. You have to be a good communicator. You have to be able to communicate with people and learn to control emotions in a very, very highly emotional game, as we all know. I mean, you see these guys right now playing with the speed they're playing at, finishing their checks, and you just have to be able to control those people's emotions and communicate with them. And I think in the book, there's a quote from Billy Guerin. It was a playoff game, and I went over to him and I said to him, Bill, if you keep using that stick as a sword, something to that effect, I'm going to have to give you a penalty. He goes, thanks, Mac, and come out on the ice, and that's all it took. With just a quick communicate. I always found if you communicated with the players and you had some respect, you could eliminate calling a penalty. And let's be honest, the fans don't come to watch the referee. They don't buy tickets to see you put your arm in there. They buy tickets to watch their team play. And so I was lucky. I recognized that early in my career, and I always thought that communicating was one of the best skills to have.
Love it. One last one. In an era that you officiated, line brawls and even like full-on bench brawls, they occurred. They don't really happen nowadays. What was your approach when there was a full-on bench brawl or a line brawl? What was your approach then, and how you would kind of monitor it as an official?
Well, the first reaction is, oh, shit, here we go again, right? I mean, I actually had, the question's a great question. I actually had the last full-scale brawl, 40 men on the ice, 1988, Vancouver, Montreal, and God bless him, and very sad news to hear about Claude Lemieux. But Claude leaned over the bench and sucker punched Stan Smil in the old Vancouver Coliseum when they were changing lines in the second period. And that ignited a full-scale brawl. And what you have to do is sort of pick the main combatants, stay with them, and there'll be a lot of other guys that are not very brave when there's nobody around to to babysit them because the linesmen are with the original altercation. And so lots of guys get free, a freebie. But the main combatants in that game were Craig Cox and Sergio Momesso. And they fought 3 distinct different times. They started in one end of the ice. The second boat was in the neutral zone, and the third boat was in the other end. And they finally stopped on their own. They were literally undressed and completely exhausted. And it was amazing. I've talked to both of them many times about it, and very respectful of one another. They were very respectful of the officiating, myself and Jim Christensen and Brad Lazarewicz that night. And but it's not a great experience. And Brian Lewis was our boss supervisor at the time. And you're going to laugh at this, but he came in the dressing room after and he said, guys, that was really well handled. You did a great job. And he turned to me and said, but you forgot to give the goaltenders 2 each for leaving the crease. And I wanted to kick them right where where it would hurt and open the door. But I learned after you're just pulling my chain, but it was quite an experience.
Oh, Bill, I can't imagine it. I highly recommend for all of our listeners, that's just a little bit of a tease for the stories that you can read about in Bill's new book. It's available on Amazon and anywhere where you get your books. Stories from Ice Level, a great NHL referee tells all. It just came out. Rob Simpson, of course, helping Bill with that. And Bill, thanks so much for your time and your openness. Congratulations on an unreal career. And I've loved the first half of the book, and I look forward to reading the rest of it. Thanks so much for your time.
Well, thank you for having me, and a lot of great questions, guys. And it's always interesting and resourceful to talk to people who care about the game. Thank you very much.
There you go. There's Bill.
Thanks, buddy.
Unreal. Honestly, you talk to Bill McCreary is one of the few officials that I'm not even sure I've heard fans complain about. Right? Like, think about it. Like, there's fans out there, they have officials that they can't stand. I can't recall people saying, "No, I hate Bill McCreary." He was one of the most well-respected officials. And it's a different time, but I loved what he talked about communication. Because if I had one complaint about officials today, I think a lot of them go on power trips too often, and you see them and they're not communicating. Just talk to the guy. Hey, man, cut it out. Away we go. Now, communication's got to work both ways, right? Players can't talk like complete imbeciles. I understand that. But at times, I just think there's a lack of communication from the officials, and it's not a great look. So. And you can see it sometimes in games, like they give the hand, they're not even talking to anybody. I'm like, dude, just go communicate. That's your job. Bill McCreary, Hall of Famer, just said, TR, what's one of the best skill sets? Communication.
And but where you just said, dude, you got to, exactly, because we don't know the name. I don't know. I don't like it. I know the reason you just mentioned threats or whatever, but I don't like it. I like knowing the reps' names. I do. It's personality. There's no reason that I don't know the reps last night other than the names weren't on the jersey. When they were on the jersey, I knew who they were and there was personality. I could even complain about them. What's McCreary doing or whatever, but it's part of the game. I don't know. We have an opportunity. Everybody got their name on their jersey. In baseball, the umps don't do it, but they wear different gear and everything. In hockey, it's right there. It was always part of our game. Few complaints, I guess. I don't know. But to me, Kerry Fraser, right? He was on or I met him a month ago, just read his book, another great book. Same thing. He had a personality. Fraser on his back, he's got the hair. All these guys, Andy Van Helleman, but if the name isn't there, I just find it's just adds to the robotic, systematic way of the day, and there's no reason for it. Let's not cut out every link to the past that associates us with social interaction, for God's sakes.
Yeah, it's true. Quick break. We'll return. And Livingston joins us next. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The Brick is thrilled to introduce the new exclusive Shaquille O'Neal home lineup of furniture. Each piece features premium Shaq-beaded memory foam for exceptional comfort, made to be lived in and loved for years. Each piece is built on a strong hardwood frame, offering sturdy comfort day after day. Head to any Brick location and snap a photo with Shaquille O'Neal. A life-size Shaq is waiting in store. Scan the QR code and upload your pic for a chance to win one of 4 Shaquille O'Neal home pieces. Exclusively at The Brick. saving you more.
At Papa John's, get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, order off the Papa Pairings menu and save. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Ride for Dad is back. Join Sports 1440 as we help raise funds and awareness for the fight against prostate cancer. The ride starts Saturday, June 13th at Blackjack's Roadhouse. Register online at ridefordad.ca and find more info at sports1440.com.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ul.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ul.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, TR with you. Colin Livingston here, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's time for the Racing Report, brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com. And Livingston was sitting here listening to Bill McCreary regale you as a Montreal fan. You're loving the Guy Lafleur story.
Yeah, listen to how Guy had to sneak into the officials' room just to hack darts between periods. I love that.
It is kind of crazy when you think it's just a different time. Like he said, like just play. Hey, can I come in here? I want to have a cigarette. You're kind of like, what? It is just it's just different. They don't really think about it right now. That's for sure. I guess let's get to it. First of all, in your thoughts on Catherine Legge, she, her Indy 500 ended up only after 19 laps, unfortunately for her. So that's because if you don't finish the first one, you don't really even try for the second one, right? Because it's not like people don't look at it as the same. You got to finish both, right?
No, she did the double.
She did them both,
didn't complete them.
Yes,
but
so it doesn't. It's like she did it, but she didn't complete it. Is that how the proper term is, or what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, she was in both events. She ran both events. Absolutely nothing of her doing. She got caught up in a spin by Ryan Hunter-Reay. He lost control. She had her choice. He was kind of spinning to the infield. She started going high. He started coming back up, and she could have destroyed him, which would have, caused a whole lot of damage and possible injury. All she could do was swerve. By the time she did that, hit the inside wall, and her day's done. And, what's super disappointing is they caught up with Hunter-Reay after he left the medical center, and he didn't mention one word about, hey, I feel bad for that team. I know they're a low budget. I know blah, 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 blah. Like really, really jerky, selfish behavior from Hunter-Reay. But yeah, I mean, it was too bad. Then, that obviously made things a little bit more relaxed for her to make it to Charlotte in time. Was holding her own. They lost a wheel towards the end of the race, and I think she ended up about 19 laps down by the time it was done. But I mean, definitely ran both laps. So, again, the only one, I think the best ever was Tony Stewart, who finished something like 6th in the 500 and then finished 3rd in the 600 later that day.
Yeah, so not bad. We had the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal and went out pretty good. Antonelli, like Mercedes, is just kind of on a different level right now.
Yes, they're kind of in their own league, but now the infighting between Antonelli and Russell has started. And, Russell got a little taste. He out-qualified in the sprint, but Antonelli was faster. Antonelli tried to make a move on the outside, and Russell just flat drove him off the track, which I know will be an internal discussion that Mercedes has had. Toto does not tolerate that kind of stuff. Because, they have to put the team above their own, self-interest. But Antonelli really got the better of him in the big race. Russell was getting beat again, but his car broke. And then Antonelli was set sail and off to the races. 4 in a row. First time a rookie's ever won consecutively 4 in a row from their first win.
Yeah, it is. He's on a little bit of a heater, shall we say. Right now, which is always good. There was the Mercedes one. Lewis and Max, though, that was quite the battle. You don't see that very often.
It brought back some fond memories, but also had me kind of closer to the edge of my seat, because Max has not always raced all that cleanly or fairly around Lewis, but it was nice to see a couple of professionals really racing respectfully, racing hard. And what was really, probably the highlight for me was listening to Lewis and Max in the cool down room afterwards, where Lewis is like, man, I couldn't shake you. He's like, I would pull a gap and then we get on the straights. And he's like, I don't know if our car's just too draggy or what. And Max is like, yeah, you would kill me in the infield, but then we'd get to the straights and I'd make it all back up. So like they were just having this really cool, like they, obviously they don't want to share technical information. They don't want to, give away any secrets, but it was just like the like hands down, the 2 most winning F1 drivers in the current era, just having like a friendly conversation. It was nice to see.
It is interesting, that part of it after the race sometimes, where you just kind of have them just, could be, they know, but they're just still talking normal. Like, hey, what did you see here? What's what I saw. So that part's good. I'm going back to the Indy 500 though. The closest finish ever.
Yeah.
0.0233 seconds for Rosenqvist wins it over David Malukas. Like, that's a wild finish, man. Like, imagine being there. You race 500 and you lose by 0.0233 seconds.
Absolute heartbreak for Malukas. He did and that's the thing that you walk away from, is knowing that you did nothing wrong. You did everything right and it just didn't work out. But like first and second were, obviously 200ths of a second, but third, fourth, and fifth were also like on top of each other. So it was, there was a late race restart that contributed to it
for sure.
But yeah, really cool that Rosenqvist got it. I mean, Meyershank is a lower budget team. They needed a lot of good luck for that to happen. It looked like it was coming away from them when there was the late race caution, because everyone's pit stop kind of got back on the same strategy. Somehow, it was the way that it's described is that the track picks the winner. Like, you don't go out and win the race. The facility tells you it's your time. And it just seemed like, even Malukas, once he kind of composed himself, he said, it's obvious it's just not my time. But, he's finished second now twice in a row. He's with Penske. He's going to win. It's just a matter of when.
TR?
Kyle Busch passed away last week. Apologies, guys. I wasn't on this time last week. So if you've already talked about it, like I said,
haven't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, I know that this guy was polarizing, okay? Maybe to some people. Now, we just got done talking about Claude Lemieux, who was very polarizing, but in the room, boys loved him. Seems to me a lot of people around him loved him. Passionate guy. So there are layers to Claude Lemieux. What can you tell us about Kyle Busch? Because I know the the polarizing parts, but to his friends and family, what kind of a guy was he?
Well, I mean, first we look at his success. Like Kyle won a ridiculous amount of races, across NASCAR's top series, like hands down the all-time winningest overall driver, despite the fact that I think it was about 2017, NASCAR implemented a rule that once you were racing in Cup, like the top level, you could only run a handful of races in the junior series. So, had that not come into play, I mean, Kyle Busch could have another 50 to 100 total wins. And I don't think there's anybody that would bet against that. So when you have that level of success, obviously you're going to be polarizing, but Kyle was also one of the guys that kind of stoked the fire. So for people who didn't like him, they kept calling him a whiner. Like he would always voice his displeasure when something bad happened. And eventually he kind of adopted like a wrestler kind of heel mentality. And he just went with it where, he won a race where everyone was booing at him, and he just kind of looked up at the crowd and he started wiping his eyes like they were the whiners. And he developed his trademark, which was a big, deep bow. So, people either loved it or hated it, but away from the track, I mean, the guy was a tireless campaigner, for numerous charities, but most recently he and his wife, Samantha, really, through their own personal struggles, developed a charity for IVF. And over the last few years, they're personally responsible. The funds that have raised contributed to something like 121 births happened because of their fundraising efforts. So there's always kind of a facade that we always put on when we're in active competition that you never really want to show who you are. You kind of always want to have a healthy distance. But now that Kyle's gone, you can, the stories that people are telling, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski, these guys that had legendary rivalries, they always come back to say, like, look, obviously when we were kids, we always had, disagreements, but the one thing, and Mr. McCready used this word an awful lot, the overwhelming tone is respect. Everyone respected Kyle as a racer. He was never a dirty driver. Absolutely, you cannot race as long as he has without making contact and causing accidents, but that wasn't his thing. But he was kind of the embodiment of the old school, the Rusty Wallace, the Dale Earnhardt, those guys that they kind of policed their own series. They didn't really rely on the rules so much. And if a driver like Jeff Gordon came in who was winning everything and making the veterans look bad, they did what they could to slow him down. And Kyle kind of had that nature as well. Like, listen, you're not going to race us. Like we're not sitting here. And, definitely the sport will be far worse off without him. But the world will be as well.
Yeah, he had quite a career, man. You look at 67 or 63 wins in the Cup Series, 102 in the Xfinity Series, 66 in Truck
It's
Series.
Like 240, 243 total, something like that.
I think it's 231.
Okay.
But then he also won championships as a driver, then as a team owner, right, for KBM. Like for it wasn't like in the real world. What is he? 40 years of age? 41. Like he's a really young guy and accomplished a ton.
Yeah, I mean I think look right now everyone's trying to figure out what happened, what went wrong, what could have been different. And now's the time where there's wild speculation. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys, professional race car drivers are, they're as tough as hockey players. Like you cannot sit them unless they say they're going to get out of the car, unless there's obvious injuries like, broken bones or what have you. It was a really unfortunate set of circumstances that went from pneumonia that got exacerbated by the road course race where he was getting tossed around. An oval is a little bit more predictable and that's what they're used to, but road courses where you have the hard braking left and right turns, and when you're dealing with pneumonia, it really affected him. And then, it just progressed into sepsis, which, ultimately is what, what caused his demise. But Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. It was very unfortunate. And at the end of the day, it's for me, it's more about thinking about, Samantha and the kids who are now left to manage without him.
Call, great stuff, buddy. Have yourself an awesome week, and we'll be talking more racing next Thursday.
Sounds like a plan.
There you go. That's
Thanks,
our
buddy.
Racing Report brought to you by Can Torque and TR. Are you sticking with us for the rest of the hour? Or are you going home?
No, I'll stick with you.
All right, perfect. Okay. Let's get to the comment. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, you name it. They got it. Over 100, or actually over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. Can I not even repeat what I'm saying here? It's brutal. 15,000 vehicles. GoAuto.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, some promotions in the Oilers organization. Michael Parcotti, now the VP of Analytics and Technology. Kurt Hill, formerly the Oil Kings, now Assistant GM with Player Procurement. Callie Larson, Assistant GM with Player Development and Innovation. While Toby Samalainen is the Assistant GM for European Operations. Also, Michael Chan promoted. He's the new President and GM of the Edmonton Oil Kings. The World Championship earlier today, Canada knocked off the United States 4-0. Advancing on to the semifinal. In the win, Evan Bouchard left the game after a hit from Ryan Lindgren. He was ejected from the game for the hit. Canada now gets Finland in the other semifinal of Switzerland and Norway. In the association, the Thunder can wrap up their series against the Spurs in San Antonio. Tip-off 6:30. Major League Baseball today is the Jays and Orioles at 4:35 from Camden Yards. We'll have that one for you immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. One game in progress. Braves lead the Red Sox 7-2 in the top of the sixth. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions, get to Cam Tate, and be joined by Arthur Staple. Look at the Islanders, Rangers, and Devils. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3. Saving you more money, with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Oodle Noodle Origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a
Thursday,
partnership and applied their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Prince.
4.
Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no principal payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Shulman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Everything is going to be okay. Any business, regardless of size, can stumble occasionally. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. If your business is facing financial challenges, our team of chartered insolvency and restructuring professionals have corporate debt recovery solutions that work. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. Chances of a positive outcome increase if you engage Faber sooner rather than later.
The sun's out, the pavement's warm, and that low rumble of a Harley rolling by? Oh yeah, that's calling your name. This is riding season, and if you've been thinking about a new ride, Harley-Davidson of Edmonton has the one that'll get your heart pumping. With a huge selection of new and pre-owned bikes, there's one waiting for you, whether you're upgrading or just getting started. And while you're there, ask about test rides, because the only way to know is to ride it. For more details, visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated since 1980, or at hdedmonton.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Your next great family adventure is just a raffle ticket away. Enter the Alberta Foster and Kinship Association's Great Family Adventure Raffle for your chance to win incredible prizes, including the first prize, a Sea-Doo pontoon cruise boat worth over $70,000. Every ticket sold helps provide vital resources to the everyday heroes raising children through some of life's hardest circumstances. Buy your tickets before the live draw on June 5th. Get yours at rafflebox.ca/raffle/the Great Family Adventure Raffle. License number 766115. Open to Alberta residents 18 plus only.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new Elks Nation website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth Double E football coverage, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.414, Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely day. If you missed Bill McCreary, definitely recommend checking that one out. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. No NHL hockey tonight. You have Carolina chance to go to the Stanley Cup with a victory tomorrow night against the Montreal Canadians. And TR, as you watch that series, it's just kind of thinking like it's good night, Irene, is it not, for the Montreal Canadiens?
Yeah, it seems like they got lucky in the first round when they won in the 7th game with 9 shots.
Yeah, fair point. That is actually really good.
Looking back.
Yeah, low shot totals. It's not like it's just new to this series for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah. They're just, and at this point, it just seems to me they're being outclassed. Now, outmatched. I won't say outclassed, I guess, because the underlying knowledge here for any fan watching the Canadians is that how many of their main guys are signed for so long, how old they are. They're going to have advantages next year, like Line A, I think, is off the cap. There's a lot of money. So they can go out and they have some means to get what they want. They've got multiple goalies that are, that are, I won't say Mountain most sought after, but he's third in the mix. He's going to go. They got 2 great goalies that are young. There's a lot that the Canadians have going for them. The Carolina Hurricanes just seem like they're ready to win now. And not that Vegas are, I'm just saying, isolating their series, the Eastern, watching the Eastern Conference, it seems to me that right now the Canadians are just, they're fighting to keep up. But here's the thing, like, when we spoke about it, like, again, I hope that they go on and win it, of course. And the more success for Alex Newhook, notoriety for the province, all of that, and I'm all over it. But earlier, I think when people asked me, and I'm sure other media personalities across North America, the hockey world, when I said I don't know if the Canadians, once again, every time the Canadians have a chance, I just think that they're not quite gritty enough. They don't have that durability. It's durability. So I know that now, like, and they were going along and people were saying, oh, it doesn't matter that they're small in stature for a lot of them and skill because they're going to keep going. And I know, and they're playing all the games and it's pretty wild. But eventually, now I'm not criticizing the guys that are smaller, Caulfield and Hudson. Just saying overall, they've got, and then some, they've got that was a criticism. And it's not always guys that go out and get injured. Like McCarr was clearly injured. He came back and played. Stone just got back in the lineup because he was injured and he couldn't play. I mean that they're all playing the games. It's just that durability wise, like, is this Carolina being so much better? Maybe. Is it that that they're just not built for endurance, for durability? I mean that in the long run. Like now, do you give out in the third round? The NHL playoffs are unlike any other. The NFL, you have 4 games. If you're not ready for that, I don't know. You're probably going out the night before. In hockey, it's just like you gotta offset you gotta offset your attributes that might be weaker. You got to do something. You got to put yourself in a position to kind of balance that out. Now, who knows? I think it's more the fact that they're young and the experience that they gain here will really help them next year. But part of it could be durability in players used.
Yeah, part of it, I think, for sure. I also think Carolina's just a better team, and fatigue maybe plays into it a little bit. I think sometimes fatigue. I think we want to look for excuses rather than just say Carolina's better. Full stop. Yeah. Right? Like they're just better.
I think it's more that. Yeah.
So I look at Vegas. Yes, McCarr got injured. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Right? McKinnon was banged up for a game. He blocked a shot, so it hurt him. You think that was the reason why Colorado did a whole lot of nothing in Game 4? I don't think so. Vegas is just playing better right now. They being the better team, and injuries can be a factor at some point, and maybe fatigue. But if 2 rounds tires you out, then you're just not destined to go all the way.
And if it's Game 7, you could even make an error. These teams are getting throttled, right? Like Colorado.
Yeah,
boy, you weren't one injury from a great player away from winning that one. You got absolutely globetrotted, right? Last night, if you watched that Canadiens game, boy, I don't even know if in the regular season I've seen a team get so dominated at parts of the game. You could have convinced someone that never watched hockey before that was a senior team playing a junior team or age-wise, like you could have convinced me that was their minor league team in the first start. If it was just no names on jerseys and you're just watching that game. Now, who knows? So I can't believe it because you watch that pregame, man. Like, I don't know. Does it psych them out? Is there a reason that they're so bad at home with such an unbelievable lead up to each game? I tune in at times just to see it, who knows? And didn't you think, total side note, and I know he's been successful, but I thought Halak was, I don't know. I played there and I don't know, because I'm never going to be carrying that torch. But I thought at first you had to be a Stanley Cup winner. And then I'm like, if you are going to go with a goalie that didn't win the cup, I'd say Price. But even there, Jose Theodore was the MVP of the league. I don't know where that came from. Maybe I'm missing something that's obvious.
Yeah, well, Price at least went to the Stanley Cup final with Montreal in 2021. So obviously you don't have to be. I think they were probably going with Halak to say, hey, you know what, guys, anything is possible. We just need a hero.
Yeah, and who am I? He had an incredible playoff run.
Yeah,
a household name is crazy. I mean, that was the Hamburglar. Remember, he came in with Agua. It was that sort of thing. I remember when Halak. So, of course, he has his place in the annals of history and should be respected. And I give him a big hug as a Canadiens fan. But again, I'm just saying, people that carry the torch, and there's so many options. I just thought it was off the board. I won't say it was a bad pick. It was just off the board.
Yes. Yeah. No, I would agree. He surprised me a little bit with that one. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, what do you think McCrimmon means when he says Edmonton leaked it? Is he doing this out of spite? Has he spoken to Casty? Why would that be a reason? Ranger Nick. Wow. Come on. You ask yourself, step back, Gabe. Would Edmonton leak it just to start a controversy where they look terrible because they hadn't fired their own coach? I guess it's possible. That would be fairly maniacal, but I guess it's there. I've always said it. I don't believe Vegas leaked it. Who did the leak benefit the most? Bruce Cassidy. His agent telling someone in the media, and now it gets out. It's the most realistic scenario. And I understand why, because it doesn't happen. The reason it probably got leaked out because there was frustration. What do you mean you're not going to let him talk? Like, it's never really happened before to that level. So now I know that like people are like, well, Vegas did it beforehand. And we'll get to that story on because I've uncovered which coach it was that had been granted permission to interview for an assistant job in Edmonton, then didn't get it. So I'll get into that. But I don't believe the Oilers would have leaked it. They didn't want it out there. There's no chance they did. I shouldn't say there's no chance. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, no.
It would make the most sense if it was the agent of looking out for his client, saying, hey, wait a sec, my client is basically being held back from interviewing for other jobs. So, of course, it would come from there, as it should. It would make sense because it's very abnormal in the NHL for that to happen. Well, speaking of coaches, Laviolette, Gallant, and others, we'll discuss it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
When thirst strikes and your energy begins to fade, one hero rises above the rest. Introducing the Superpower Smoothie from Booster Juice. A bright sun-charged burst of mangoes, bananas, and blue spirulina. An out-of-this-world smoothie, just in time for the new Supergirl movie. Discover your power and channel your inner superhero. Fly into your local Booster Juice and experience it for yourself today. And see Supergirl. Only in theaters June 26th.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Are new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more? Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Ride for Dad is back. Join Sports 1440 as we help raise funds and awareness for the fight against prostate cancer. The ride starts Saturday, June 13th at Blackjack's Roadhouse. Register online at ridefordad.ca and find more info at sports1440.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Fundraise for your team or charity at On the Rocks. They'll make you custom tickets for the event that includes no line, cover, and one drink for the event. You keep the profits. Learn more at ontherocks.yg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
427. Gregor, Ryan, Hallie, Paulson, busy Thursday afternoon on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website. Lottery, instance, live dealer, casino, they have it all. But remember, if you're there, use your game sense. Go to GameSenseAB.ca to help you ensure that you stay within your limits. Keep it fun. I got even a phone number to call if you're interested, but lots of tips on making it fun, not to just try to pay down your house. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, Carolina's a Suzuki breakaway and Masson crossbar away from being 2-2 in the series. Sure, you can look at it that way, KG, but the fact of the remains, it's 3-1, and the Montreal's had 43 shots in 3 games. It's brutal. Like, never, ever in the history of the NHL has a team went 3 games and had a total of 43 shots. Like, I'm sorry. You could make arguments like there's lots of what ifs prior to that game getting to overtime why Carolina could have won. At the end of the day, they won. So, and I would argue that they've deserved it. They've been the better team for longer stretches of the series, at least after. They dominated game 1. They have full marks to win that game, but since then it has been heavy Carolina in that game. As we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Stop in at McD's right now if you want to get some of their new fruit drinks or $5 meals. Check it out at any participating McDonald's. And the Edmonton Oilers, we probably don't think are going to get Bruce Cassidy, or at least an opportunity to interview Bruce Cassidy anytime soon. But there's lots of other good coaches out there. To talk about a few of them and some other stories in the tri-state area, Arthur Staple, longtime beat reporter, the Islanders, the Rangers, the Devils, now from the Tri-State Hockey Podcast and Daily Faceoff, joins us. And Arthur, I want to get your thoughts on Peter Laviolette. What do you think why would he be a good candidate? I think he would be, but you've dealt with him, you've seen him. What makes Laviolette a top candidate for the Oilers coaching vacancy? Oh, we'll have to get him back. Cons just yelled in my ear, TR. He heard you were there. He was so excited that his phone dropped out. So we'll have to get him back. Now, what do you make of Laviolette as a coach?
Oh, I mean, if you last that long and you've been fairly successful, well-spoken in the media, and again, for me, it's often what do the players think? And a lot of players say that he was a good coach. I mean, I don't think you can be around that long, be so successful, and then be so available in the media. Like, he's just around a lot, and you don't hear too much bad about him. So now you're like, okay, so the personality seems to gel. What do players think of him? Seems to me he got a decent reputation. He doesn't walk out of these places leaving it topsy-turvy. It seems to me he gets respect even when he gets shown the door. And just so many years, so many circumstances, so many players coached, and so much success that I think it's definitely 100% worth the call. But the thing is, I would think that the top candidates are all going to be like that. So on the inside, they'll know what fits, whatever gels for the team. Not always what seems like the best choice to us. It often is, but it often isn't. So, but for me, Peter Laviolette is a safe choice. It would definitely be a safe choice that most people would say, oh, you know what? Pretty good pick. But who knows? Is it a home run? We'll never really know until it happens.
Yeah. Now let's welcome Arthur Staple to the show. Arthur, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, Jason. Sorry about the drop there. I don't know what happened, but heard you guys talking about Peter Laviolette, and yeah, I think he'd be a good choice. And I think the main reason he'd be a good choice, and we seem to have a lot of established guys who definitely give teams a bump in their first year. Bruce Cassidy obviously did that with Vegas. They have short shelf lives, but every coach, no matter what their experience level is, seems to have a short shelf life these days. And Lavi, I think, is kind of the king of that first year bump. his most recent job with the Rangers, he came in, President's Trophy, 2 wins away from a Stanley Cup final. Obviously, it fell apart in a big way the next year. I don't know if you can pin a lot of that on him. But I feel like out of all the teams out there looking for coaches, there's one team that is very close to being a Stanley Cup contender or is already one and needs to win next year. And that's the Oilers, because obviously they've got to show Connor McDavid that they're serious about winning. And I imagine that you want to get the guy behind the bench that's going to jump right in and knows what buttons to push right away. And Peter Laviolette, like I said, there's out of all the guys that do that well, I think he might be the best.
Yeah, and hey, he's won a cup, but he's taken other teams deep into the Stanley Cup final. He plays an up-tempo style, and he's also a coach who's not afraid to hold his players, including his best players, accountable.
Yeah, I think leaving aside kind of how quickly it fell apart for the Rangers, into the summer of his second season, right before that with Jacob Trouba and all that stuff, that's really, again, that's not on coaching or anything. I think the staff that he brought in, the way that he was able to bring a team that had been together for a little while and had kind of taken a stumble the year before after another good run 2 years earlier, he seems to have a real good feel for what a team needs. And like you guys were saying, he's out there talking about teams, pays attention a lot. He knows what teams are doing, maybe what they need, what extra nuances they bring. And I don't know that nobody's really had a player like McDavid that they haven't coached him before, but I think he understands. You look at kind of the higher end guys with the Rangers, I think he lets them be themselves. Like you said, he's got a system that he likes to play. He's up tempo. He's not super focused on trying to slow things down. So I think it would appeal to guys like McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And I think he's able to do a lot with guys that are maybe more on the margins too. He's had some really talented teams, but I think he kind of brings a full group together quite well. And I think, if there's one area the Oilers need to improve on, it's if you're not able to add depth guys, you've got to make your depth guys better. And I think he can do that.
Okay. What about Gerard Gallant?
Turk is who he is. We just had him on the Tri-State show the other day. And, I think his 2-year run with the Rangers, which preceded Laviolette, looks better and better now, because there's a lot of complaints about him with that group that he didn't develop their young guys like Alexis Lafreniere and Filipino and Capo Caco and Keandre Miller. And really there's only one of those guys left. So Chris Drury, the GM, even though he moved on and they clashed a bit, at the end of his tenure there, I don't think that Gallant really did anything wrong with that group. And really, he was, and a lot of that was Igor Shesterkin to kind of get them off going so well after their kind of 4-year journey through the lottery previously. But he's more of a hands-off guy. He trusts the room to kind of police itself. I think he's a really smart coach, and he's been in a lot of different places in a lot of different situations. He kind of was, unfortunately for him, kind of the godfather of the 2 years and out. Coaching seemed to see that every owner and GM seems to like to employ, no matter how good the track record is. Once you get to year 3, if they're not still winning, you're out. And he had that in Florida, certainly had that in Vegas after getting that team off to a great start in the beginning of their franchise. And he was real good with the Rangers, 110 and then 107 points in back-to-back years. The Rangers don't have consecutive seasons like that. They really haven't for decades. So, I think it's unfortunate he's kind of didn't latch on anywhere for the couple of years after that, and the health reasons he had to come back from the KHL. But yeah, if you're looking for a veteran coach, and obviously Cassidy's kind of the hotter guy right now. The Islanders went and snapped up Peter DeBoer, but if you're needing an experienced guy who can step right in and get results, Laviolette's probably one, and I think Gallant's right there at 2 or 3.
Arthur, the New York Rangers were motley this season, but a lot of people before the season thought that they had the nucleus of a team to do something with it. Do they go right for it next year again? Do they try to go out and get some players, or do you think they're going to rebuild, and can they stick to it if the option is number 2?
I don't know that they have the luxury of rebuilding. James Dolan, the owner, they went through it. He had the patience not that long ago when Jeff Gorton was in charge, and then, kind of turning on a dime after 4 years. He said, nope, I'm done with that. I think we want to move on. Got rid of Jeff Gorton, got rid of John Davidson, brought in Chris Drury. They had some success, but I think you see the way that Drury's handled the coaches, getting rid of them, 2 guys after 2 years and each of them going to a conference final. There's pressure there. And I don't know, they obviously put that letter out right around the trade deadline and traded Artemi Panarin. Didn't move any of their other guys, but, I'm curious to see how much remaking they're going to do this summer. They've got a ton of cap space. I think 25 million or so right now, with not too many RFAs that they need to sign. It's probably the worst summer to have that much cap space, because there's just not going to be any free agents that are going to move the needle in any real way. It looks like, and they do have a lot of needs. I feel like they're in the right division. That Metro division is pretty soft. Carolina could end up winning a cup this year, but they were really the only consistently good team in that division this whole season. I think Pittsburgh kind of showed that they were a little bit inflated from the regular season. Philly had a nice little run, but who knows if they can stick with it, if they're on the right trajectory. And then you've got Jersey, who should bounce back. You've got the Islanders, who were in it and kind of fell out. Rangers, who were bad all year. Columbus got close, but there's a lot of what ifs in that division. So I think because the Rangers have Igor Shesterkin, because they have Adam Fox, because they have Mika Zibanejad and a couple, and Lafreniere and Gabe Perreault kind of emerging, it might not take too many tweaks, but I don't know that you're going to be able to do that if they're still looking to offload guys, if they're still committed to trading Vincent Trocheck. I don't know how you replace a guy like that in your top 6 and immediately get better if you're also trying to get younger. So it's going to be an interesting offseason, given the cap space, given the needs that they have. They need a couple of depth defensemen as well. And you can't, the Rangers for a long time have been famous for kind of trying to buy their way out of trouble. And I don't think you can do that with the crop of potential free agents that might even be reduced by a few by the time you get to July 1. So it'll be interesting then. But again, when you have Shesterkin, when you have Fox, when you have some of their high-end guys, all it takes is a great run from a great goalie, a really good power play, and some other depth guys showing up, and suddenly you're back in the mix. So we'll see what they can do.
Where do you come out on Drury? How thin of ice is he on?
He doesn't seem to be on very thin ice. You would think he's fired 3 coaches. He got the guy he wanted in Mike Sullivan. We'll see, if they start off bad next year, 2 years seems to be his max. So even Mike Sullivan, the guy who's one of the richest coaches in the league right now and signed very long term, if they're starting off slow, will we hear rumblings about whether they want to make a change there? I don't know. Maybe he can get Scotty Bowman to come in next. So you get where you go from there. But the owner seems to be very committed. Gave Drury an extension last summer. At some point, you would think if there's so much change, so much roster turnover, so much coaching turnover, the spotlight has to fall on the GM at some point, especially if they're bad again next year. But James Dolan likes to zig when everybody expects him to zag, and he's his own man. So we'll see if that situation sours at some point. But yeah, he's had some good situations. They've, having gone to 2 conference finals in 5 years as GM, you would say, okay, that guy's doing the right thing. But the way that they kind of went about dismantling their roster after that run in 24, didn't leave a lot of good feelings around in the locker room. And I don't know that it's sort of situation that looks very appealing. If you're, let's say, an Alex Tuck or somebody like that, you're the premier free agent on the market and you get to July 1 and you're surveying the landscape. And if it's just about money, that's one thing. But if you're looking for a settled, situation where things seem pretty consistent and you want to fit right in, I don't know if you're looking at the Rangers and saying, hey, that's a good environment right there. A lot of stuff has happened to kind of upset the apple cart here the last couple of years.
Yeah, no question. As we're talking Rangers and Islanders, Devils, but also available coaches in the National Hockey League for the Oilers. Arthur Staple joins us from the Tri-State Hockey Podcast, longtime beat reporter for the Islanders. And the Rangers, the Islanders, they got their new coach late in the season. Patrick was out. When you look at their offseason, like Sorokin was unreal. And he really covered up a lot of warts. Obviously, they got young Schaefer, and he played great. You talk about the Rangers needing to move. What kind of moves do you think the Islanders need to make this offseason?
I'm going to be in the minority, but I feel like they got a lot of moves that they need to make. It's been 5 years since they had that really nice kind of 3-year run when Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz were here. They obviously changed coaches a couple of times since Barry left. Lou is out, Matthew Darche is in. Obviously won the lottery last year, and it couldn't have gone better with Matthew Schaefer. The vibes were really high. This kid has transformed a lot of the areas of this team on and off the ice that you never thought would happen to kind of the stodgy old Isles. And like you said, Ilya Sorokin, if they'd made the playoffs, kind of feel like he would have been a shoo-in to win the Vezina with some of his numbers and the way he kept them in games. And then it all fell apart. They probably made some wrong moves, bringing in too many over 30 guys again to a group that's already aging, and they really kind of faltered down the stretch. Now, the same thing applies as applies to the Rangers. I don't know that the Islanders don't have quite the same cap space. They need to shed money rather than having so much space. So I think trades are always going to be the way that they make some changes. But this to me is a pretty pivotal offseason for Darche, that if they want to keep capitalizing on that, on Matthew Schaefer being on his entry level deal, and really, they can sign him to a new an extension July 1st of 27. And I imagine that's going to be one of those sweepstakes checks, the big ones that you just hand to him and you say, write in whatever number you want, because this kid is, he's the star and he's the main attraction here. And you've got Sorokin signed long-term and playing at a high level, and you've got Bo Horvat and you've got Matthew Barzal. But outside of that, it's an older team. They only really have a couple of young guys that you really look to, and in Cal Ritchie and Simon Holmstrom, who could do something. And on D, you've seen a lot of these guys for a long, long time, whether it's an Adam Pelech, Ryan Pollock, Scott Mayfield, and defensively, they just haven't been good enough the last few years. So, I think if you're going to pull the trigger on a deal, and Anders Lee, who's been their captain for a long time, is an unrestricted free agent, no guarantees he'll be back. But I would imagine that, there's an opportunity to make some trades, whether it's trading a guy like Pelech, who's got a partial no trade clause and would certainly, fill some defensive problems for a lot of teams. I think they have an opportunity here to make some moves. I've even discussed on Tri-State whether it's time to move on from Matthew Barzal, a guy who probably wouldn't mind going back out to Western Canada. He also has a partial no move. It just seems like they've been very much the same kind of team the last 4 or 5 years. A couple of times desperately getting in at the last minute to get in the playoffs, only to get waxed by Carolina. And more often than not, 3 years out of the last 5 being in the lottery. So, I think this is the time for them to make some changes. They're locked into a lot of guys for 26, 27. They're getting older. So there's a real opportunity here if they can make it happen and find some trade partners to change the look of this team. And if it doesn't happen, I do wonder, even with Schaefer and even with Sorokin, whether they can be competitive even in a pretty weak Metro.
Arthur, great stuff, man. I really appreciate catching up with you. Have an awesome weekend.
You too, guys. Thanks a lot.
There you go. That's Arthur Staple joining us from New York. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan will come back. We got 5 questions next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Noodle noodle nude noodle nude noodle nude oodle noodle nude. Noodle noodle nude 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 noodle nude oodle noodle nude oodle nude. Noodle noodle nude noodle nude noodle nude oodle noodle nude. Noodle noodle nude 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 noodle nude oodle noodle nude.
Troll down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
The Brick is thrilled to introduce the new exclusive Shaquille O'Neal home lineup of furniture. Each piece features premium Shacopedic memory foam for exceptional comfort, made to be lived in and loved for years. Each piece is built on a strong hardwood frame, offering sturdy comfort day after day. Head to any Brick location and snap a photo with Shaquille O'Neal. A life-size Shaq is waiting in store. Scan the QR code and upload your pic for a chance to win one of 4 Shaquille O'Neal home pieces exclusively at The Brick, saving you more.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today. Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrobacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. And yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes. And they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$450. Oh my goodness. Geez. Okamoto with a tough sequence there. Could have had a double play ball. He botched it. They had the shift on. He was playing shortstop. They botched it. Then the runner's going from first to third. He's clearly out, and then he drops the throw from Jimenez. Oh, jeez. That was looking like the bad news Bears infield right there for the Blue Jays. Not good at all. Not good at all. Welcome back. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time for 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, and they are introducing the new exclusive Shaquille O'Neal home lineup of furniture, the Shacopedic. It's got a premium memory foam for exceptional comfort. Come try one today at The Brick and at thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, question number 1 for you today. What did you make of the hit on Bouchard at the World Championships? And kind of a follow-up, you think we'll get a little spiciness when the Oilers take on the Kraken next year?
Definitely spiciness. There should be. Now, Bouchard had his head down. Like, when you do that, you know it, that there's a weird calm that comes over you that, oh my God, I'm going to get, and then boom, because he found himself there, right? It wasn't obvious. Then he found himself on those tracks. But I looked at this guy hit him again. Lindgren, what's his name?
Yeah, Ryan Lindgren.
Look at his eyes, right? He saw that. He's like, I'm gonna hammer this guy. And just that look in his face. If I'm an Oiler and I'm looking at him, just look to maim a guy. I'm honestly gonna with no problem. As soon as the puck drops in Seattle, my gloves would be off. And he'd know it and just sit on it now for a whole summer and know that I'm coming to get you. Because it might have been, you might argue it's clean. I don't like when people take runs like that. And, that's it. It's part of it. You're going to do it. You better pay the piper.
Wow. Do I think they should do something? Yes. Will they, Connor, is a different question. But yeah, I'm sorry. Like Bouchard's one of your best players. That's a blatant contact to the head.
Oh, yeah.
Like Bouchard's out before he even hits the ice.
He thought about it.
Look at his body. So to me, it's a no-brainer. He gets kicked out. But like whatever, he's kicked out of the tournament. Like who cares? So they lost anyway. Bouchard's done for the tournament. But if I'm the Edmonton Oilers, I don't care if Ryan Lindgren's a dirty player or not. That's a dirty hit. It's a blatant headshot contact, and you better pay the piper next year. The Edmonton Oilers, somebody better go get their pound of flesh.
Question number 2. Sad news today with the passing of Claude Lemieux at the age of 60. I'll say for me, loved the role he had in those Avs Red Wings series. What would you guys say is your favorite memory from his playing days?
TR?
Well, 100% would be something that I think gets overlooked an awful lot in hockey is the 1986 playoffs. Claude Lemieux had come out. He played like parts of 2 seasons, I think, like in Montreal, not a lot. Like a few
like 9 games
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he comes in the 86 playoffs and had 10 goals in the playoffs after getting like 1 ever in like 10 games. Like, so I remember that being this huge story for me as a forward. I was 8-9 years old. And it kind of fizzled because of the history around the whole thing and how much of a crazy situation that was for Patrick Waugh, who stole more of the show. But definitely to me, Claude Lemieux, the first playoffs, they won the cup. He was a huge, huge part of it, and you don't ever even hear it talked about.
Yeah, I would go with I do remember 86 for sure. More so, I'll say his time with the Devils, right? Like the year he won the Conn Smythe, that like 13 goals. And then he had 13 goals again a few years ago with Colorado. In between that, he won a second cup. Like he had a stretch there that all Lemieux did, like pretty much every team, he was into the 3rd round or the 4th round, like all the time. Like you look at his career, 20 games, 17, 18, 20, 20, 19, 17, 19, 23. Like it wasn't just in the playoff. His teams went deep. And Terry, you were very astute in pointing out it was with the Canadians. Then it's with the Devils. In his first few years with the Devils, they weren't good. And then he was a major part of building them up. Then he goes to Colorado. Now that was a very deep team. Don't get me wrong. But, then he comes back to New Jersey later on. And they're quality again. So now you had Stevens, and obviously you had Brodeur and Niedermeyer. But Lemieux, wherever he went, there was success. And in lots of different times over a span of basically 15 years. Like his first 15 years in the NHL, he was pretty much a guaranteed 2nd-round player and usually 3rd or 4th round.
Question number 3, per reports, Sharks and Blackhawks would listen to calls on the 2nd and 4th overall pick in the upcoming draft. Do you guys foresee either of these being moved? And if so, what team should do it?
I don't. I hear this every year. Oh, yeah, they're taking calls. Sure. Do you want to overpay? There's a reason why it never happens. I don't see it happen.
Yeah, especially not if I'm both those teams. There might be attractive offers, but I want those picks. I really do. The 2nd pick's like the 1st pick because no one knows who's. I mean, I'd take McKenna, but so then you get the 4th pick, isn't it? Yeah, for me, take the pick all day long.
Question number 4: what do you guys think of the CFL's deal with the streaming platform DAZN?
Anytime the CFL can get more coverage is a win for the league, however it may be, and that's seen by a lot of eyes. So I think it's a win. Yes.
Well, it's a big financial win, right? The previous TV deal was 50 mil. This one's 84. So that's a significant increase per team all the time. So I think that's huge news for each team in the CFL. And you're going to have, I don't like it. Well, guess what? You'll survive. Right. And if you want to, I think somebody said it was like $20 for a month. right? Like if you like football, then you'll watch. And you don't just get the CFL, you'll get all the other, all the other packages. And I think the diehard people will watch it and some won't. And that's fine. But you still have like 60 games on TSN, right? Like majority of the games are on TSN still, right? Because there's what? Like 80, how many games in the league? 18 times, what is there, like 80, 81 games in the CFL, something like that. So still the vast majority of them are going to be on, 75% will be on TSN. But there'll be a few green and gold games that aren't there. And if they're home games, then you know what? More people will go to the stadium. But this is a good deal for the league. You're making way more money. That's what you want.
Final question for you guys today. It is National Hamburger Day. So in honor of that, in your opinion, what goes into the perfect burger?
Yeah, the burger I love, and what I love about it is that I change it up every time. But if I had to, now if I was on death row and I can only have a burger, it'd just be the basics. There you go, good Alberta beef with cheese, mustard, ketchup, pickle. There you go.
All right. I've become a huge fan of bison burgers lately. I have to say, I love them. So bison burger, I want some cheese, but I put the cheese while the burger's still, where you're frying it, so the cheese melts a little bit on top of it. Obviously, mustard and ketchup. I like lettuce. I want some pickles, and I'm almost, those. They're not even the buns now, but they're much thinner. Well, I guess it's kind of a bun, but it's much thinner. I don't like the big buns. I don't want a huge bun. I don't want that much bread. So I want like the thin bun. That's what I'll go with.
Nice.
And relish too. Little hamburger relish.
Good call. Alberta beef for sure. Just before I put the cheese on the grill, a little barbecue sauce. And then I throw the buns in to toast them. And then when I take it off, mayo on the bottom. Then you throw in the patty. Then on top of that, little ketchup, mustard, onion, lettuce. That'll be it for me. With the cheese, of course.
Onion too. I forgot onion. There you go. That's a huge ingredient.
Not for Gregor.
Oh yeah, you love the onions. No thanks. I'll buy. I'll take the one off of mine and I'll give it to you, TR. So you'd have 2 onions on yours. So there you go.
2 onions is better than no onions. Perfect.
Exactly.
I come out a winner again.
I disagree on that one, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. TR, have yourself an awesome weekend. And when we talk next, we'll likely be setting up Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, because I think most of us believe that the Canadians' great run is going to end tomorrow.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. My God, I forgot your name nearly. Thank you, Edmonton. And I will see you guys again soon.
That's not coffee in that can, is it? I love it. Let's get to the Command Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. And if you're looking for vehicles, hey, they got them. But hey, how about this? Heavy-duty trucks, 0% financing right now. Stop in on that one. And on all half tons as well, 0%. So save some money. Can't get a better deal than that. NorthgateGM.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it today, some promotions within the Oilers organization. Michael Parcotti promoted to Vice President of Analytics and Technology. Kurt Hill, formerly of the Oil Kings, Assistant GM with Player Procurement. Callie Larson, Assistant GM with Player Development and Innovation. Toby Samalainen, Assistant GM, European Operations. The Oil Kings promoting Michael Chen as their new GM and President. Will be joined by Oilers GM Stan Bowman at 5:20 to discuss the moves over in Switzerland. It was Canada victorious over the United States 4-0. They'll advance to the semifinals against Finland. Not all good news, though, for the Canadian team, as Evan Bouchard left the game after a high hit from Brian Lindgren. He was ejected for the play. The other semifinal will have Norway taking on Switzerland. In the association, Spurs Thunder from San Antonio. Tip-off set for 6:30. OKC can wrap that one up with a win. And in the majors, Jays in action, scoreless against the Orioles right now in the top of the second. We'll join that game in progress immediately following the Gregor Show on our AM feed. Bottom of the ninth in Boston, it's all Braves. They lead the Red Sox 10-2. Earlier today, Angels got past the Tigers 7-1, and the White Sox downing the Twins 6-2. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, Oilers GM Stan Bowman, and we'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3, saving you more money with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 Select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 Select tires.
X and 440 Sports 1440.ca YouTube page.
FountainTire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
By PlayAlberta.ca.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety
Gregor.
and compliance, a critical part of any
Ryan.
lineup.
Precisely.
Paulson,
they
busy.
perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as
Okamoto with the
referees, ensuring everything is up to standard
Matt,
before
North KGM.
disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
What's that? Is that actually spring? Like no snow squalls or bad weather tomorrow? It's actually spring? Well, GS Construction welcomes the warmer weather because that means we can really get to work. Now, it doesn't matter if there was bad weather. This is our time to shine, but we can't do it without good people to do that work. That's why GS Construction is hiring pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. If you want to join a team who loves their work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Rev up for a ride that truly matters. Join the Princess Auto Ride for Dad Edmonton, where hundreds of motorcycles fire up and roll out together in one unforgettable moment. Enjoy a scenic route, great food, amazing prizes, fundraising awards, and a whole community riding shoulder to shoulder. Collect pledges to support prostate cancer research and awareness in the fight against prostate cancer. Ride strong, ride proud to make a difference on Saturday, June 13th, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. Register now at ridefordad.ca.
The funny thing about hitting the road to leave it all behind is you don't really want to leave it all behind. So Sherwood Honda has the SUV with plenty of room for all you want with you. Think Honda CR-V, the Honda Pilot, or maybe even a Ridgeline truck. With this kind of lineup, you can go where you want and bring all you want with you. You sure would make it easy to leave your cares behind by starting at Sherwood Honda.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care, Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
How are you, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Hope you're having a lovely day. Jays are playing, and we'll have the game right after the conclusion of our show to check it out. They're into Baltimore to take on the Orioles. Jays a few games up on the Orioles. Jays looking to a little bit of a winning streak here. See how it goes. Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can always get in the game. If you want casino, sports, live dealer, lottery, instants, and more, and the Daily Grand every Thursday, your chance to win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Pretty good. $7.3 million at PlayAlberta.ca. It's time now for the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. And they're hiring pipe layers, top men, operators. That's you. Put an application. Work for a great company. gsconstruction.ca. Look up careers as Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Oh, beautiful day, man. Hot out here. Holy cow.
Oh, yeah, it's nice. We're not complaining about the heat, buddy, because we don't get a lot of hot days, so let's take it while we can. Put on some sunscreen.
Yeah, it's summertime, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Tonight, a long time for this around here.
Tonight is barbecue weather for sure. Just sit out and enjoy the heat. It's awesome. Kelly McCrimmon just adding a little fuel to the fire. Spec, I'm loving it. He claimed that Edmonton leaked out the Bruce Cassidy story today, which makes me chuckle. But I love it, man. Hey, Vegas and Edmonton is a good rivalry. Just keep it going any way you can.
Yeah, like, you know what? He said, she said, I don't care who leaked it out. It was leaking out from somewhere. You can't hang a coach on the line like this for this long, a coach that's this popular that everybody wants to talk to, and think that word's not getting out. Like, you're going to be able to do it in secret, right? So did Edmonton leak it? I don't know. Did Vegas leak it? I don't know. Who cares who leaked it? I think, to be honest, I saw Butch on the Spit and Chicklets. I saw a little piece of that where he was talking about how he can't get out of his contract. Like, even if he wanted to.
Yeah,
it's a non-compete thing. And they're just being, we said it the other week, Jay, everybody has a right to be a you-know-what whenever they want to, if that's what you choose to be. And Vegas is choosing to be that. It's their right to act like a word I can't use on the radio, and that's what they're doing. So good for them.
Yeah. And hey, they're winning games, and they don't care what people outside the organization think of them. And, there's definitely some truth to it. And you probably shouldn't care that much about what others think of you. That's something you always try to tell your kids and teach them. So here's the Vegas Golden Knights living up to that. And now they're going to wait. And it looks like, Spec, after last night, that it's going to be the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights, probably starting as early as Tuesday.
Yeah, it's amazing how much better Carolina actually seems to be than Montreal. Montreal does not have an answer. Montreal beat good teams. Like, it's not like they just somehow were, gifted a spot in the Eastern Conference Final, right? Beating Tampa was hard, and Buffalo's been really good. But oh boy, there's a large and giant chasm between the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. Like, it looks like they could play a 15-game series, and Montreal might have trouble winning 2 or 3 games. It's not close. Last night was not close. When Montreal was down 3-0 in a normal game, usually the score effects kick in, and the team that's trailing gets some chances. Not last night. Last night, the only chances anyone was getting was Carolina getting chances. It was a absolute thumping from start to finish.
Yeah, it never really looked in doubt at any point here, and the Habs they can't produce anything offensively right now. It's kind of painful to watch, really. It's just, okay, give Carolina credit, Spec. If you look at all of their playoff games, they've played 12 of them so far. They've dominated 11 of those 12 games pretty handily for the most part. So outside of game 1 of this series, after they had a 12-day break and they looked a little rusty, and away we go. So you have that. You have the Oilers, and the Oilers made a lot of management moves here today. Spec, 3 assistant general managers. Kurt Hill's actually going to join us, former GM of the Oil Kings, who is now one of the assistant GMs. Callie Larson, who I'd mentioned after the season, I'd heard rumblings that he was going to get a promotion, and he did. Toby Salmelainen's the European operations assistant GM. Andreas Carlson. So basically, they're just they're bringing in more guys to the management team. And, Parkatti gets to be the vice president now of analytics and technology. So they're just trying to strengthen their, their management department. And when you don't have a salary cap, you might as well do it.
Well, they're one of the top earning teams in the National Hockey League. So they should have, in areas like this where there is no cap, they should spend, and they should have the best people, and there should be no sparing of salary here. So, and that's what they're doing. So you got to give, you got to give Cates credit. Cates spends money. He hires people, he pays people, he does what it takes to win, and it's so good. Parkatti's been around here, and they're going to expand. It sounds like they're going to expand that department a little bit, which is great. And I'm a big Calle Larson fan, man. I think he's he's slugged it out in the USHL for a long time. He's really risen up through the ranks and done all the hard, dirty work in the lower levels, and good for him, man. He's a really good guy, and I think he's got a sharp eye as well.
Yeah. So kudos to him. Also, Michael Chan's now going to be the president and GM of the Oil Kings. Jamie Jackson will be their director of scouting. So it's a complete kind of organization overhaul. So you bring in Hill, Larson, Salmelainen, although they were in the organization, just bigger roles now is how it goes. When you look at the Oilers and, you hear McCrimmon, you don't get the sense, Spec, that I don't see Vegas changing. And suddenly when they, whether they win or lose the cup, that suddenly Bruce Cassidy's going to get an opportunity to interview for these coaching jobs. Do you?
I mean, I guess not. It's just, I don't really get it. I don't, Vegas is a really, really good team. They've earned their way to the Stanley Cup final. What are they worried about? What to me, it's a sign of weakness for Vegas. That this pettiness exists. What's Bruce Cassidy going to do? Is he going to come in here and have the secret sauce, and Edmonton's going to beat Vegas all the time? Well, I got news for you. Edmonton beats Vegas all the time already, right? Go look at the stats of the last 4 years of Vegas Edmonton games. Edmonton beats Vegas. So, what are we doing here? I don't get what we're trying to accomplish. I don't understand what we think that Bruce Cassidy is going to bring to Edmonton's organization that's going to tip the scale so greatly. I'm all for, if you want a guy to work for you, then hire him and he works for you. And once you let him go, get the hell out of his way and let him work. So I don't get this. I don't like this. It's a bad precedent, and it makes you look paranoid and petty and juvenile, frankly. I don't like it one bit. So Vegas can do what they want. They're well within their rights to act the way they're acting, and maybe they'll cost the guy a whole year sitting on the bench, on the sidelines. If that's what they want to do, good for you. Yay, right? Awesome.
Yeah, it is a little odd. No question about it.
It's petty. It's not odd. It's petty, right? It's paranoid.
Paranoid. I think it's more so say, hey, I wouldn't be surprised, Spec, if that they're like, hey, well, we just don't want him coaching Edmonton, but we'd grant him permission to go to Toronto. We don't want him in the division. Not saying it's right, but I could see that being their thought process, right?
Sure. No. I guess. Whatever, man. Coaches move around,
It's true.
So, I've said my piece. I don't like it.
I can tell, which is good. The Elk Spec, the CFL, I should say, huge TV deal here. With way more money, they're going to stay on TSN, but a few of the games now are going to be moving over streaming on YouTube and DAZN.
So DAZN or DAZN or whatever we call it, we have to subscribe to that if we want to watch those CFL games. I don't know how many there are, but I get it. They're
20.
Making money. 20 games?
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. So you subscribe to DAZN. They got lots of stuff on there. And YouTube, isn't everybody subscribed to YouTube? Is that going to cost a CFL fan money to watch their team play on YouTube?
I don't think so. No, well, there's YouTube right now. I don't know if they have where you got to pay for anything on YouTube. You just put a subscription in and it's free.
Right. So everybody gets YouTube is my point. So here's what I'm getting at. I would be a little bit, if all of a sudden I had to buy 6 subscriptions to watch the CFL, the risk would be I just wouldn't buy any of them.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the risk, right? But everyone in Canada has TSN. I mean, if you're a sports fan, you got TSN. Everybody has YouTube. So now if there's 20 games on DAZN, make your call. DAZN's got wicked NFL coverage all year and lots of soccer. So it's as a sports fan, I'm not crying tears if I'm telling you probably should, put your $20 a month in or whatever it is for DAZN. There's a ton of great sports on there. And the CFL hasn't grown much lately, man. They haven't had a big revenue hit for a long time. So this is kind of out of left field for me. I didn't realize there was this much value in the CFL. Jay, did you?
Oh, there's eyes, man. If you look at the TV numbers for the CFL the last years, they continue to go up. So this isn't surprising to me. Live sports on radio and TV is the one place where advertisers want to be, because people it's not something that everybody hey, if you want to watch your TV show, Spec, a lot of people just wait and then they just watch, 4 episodes or 2 episodes a night and you're done and you binge it and then you move on to something else, right? You don't care if it's necessarily live. It's not like many years ago when Seinfeld came on at 10 o'clock on Thursday and you made sure you were watching at 10 o'clock on Thursday.
Yeah, right.
It's different. But sports, now there's some people, obviously you have live, so you can record a game, but the vast majority of people, they like to watch sports live. And that's even the CFL, like the CFL's numbers on TV are pretty good. And you know what? I think this is a very important deal for the league, and we're going to speak to the commissioner tomorrow on the show. And I think this is a huge deal for the league.
Yeah, I do too. And like I say, anytime that's like for the CFL to grow and get big TV dollars, that's awesome. I'm a huge fan of the CFL. I watch a lot of CFL. I feel like I make myself I declare myself as an old guy when I say that, because I never ran into a 30-year-old who said, I love the CFL. I watch it all the time. It's, I guess they're out there. None of the boys in my family exist in that world. But whatever, I'm a fan of the CFL, man. I grew up on it. I like it. I'll watch it all the time. If the Elks play, what do they play? 18 games this year. I wouldn't be surprised if I watched all 18. So good for the CFL, man. It's nice to see us old guys in our league that we like get a little love once in a while, Jay.
Yeah, I think it's a great deal for the league, no question about it. Spec, have yourself a wonderful Thursday evening. Enjoy the heat, and we'll chat with you tomorrow.
Thanks, Jay.
There you go. That's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction, and former GM of the Oil Kings, new assistant GM of the Edmonton Oilers, Kurt Hill, will join us next. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
The Brick is thrilled to introduce the new exclusive Shaquille O'Neal home lineup of furniture. Each piece features premium Shaq-beaded memory foam for exceptional comfort. Made to be lived in and loved for years. Each piece is built on a strong hardwood frame, offering sturdy comfort day after day. Head to any Brick location and snap a photo with Shaquille O'Neal. A life-size Shaq is waiting in store. Scan the QR code and upload your pic for a chance to win one of 4 Shaquille O'Neal home pieces. Exclusively at the Brick, saving you more.
The funny thing about hitting the road to leave it all behind is you don't really want to leave it all behind. So Sherwood Honda has the SUV with plenty of room for all you want with you. Think Honda CR-V, the Honda Pilot, or maybe even a Ridgeline truck. With this kind of lineup, you can go where you want and bring all you want with you. You sure would make it easy to leave your cares behind by starting at Sherwood Honda.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Spring is here, and your lawn knows it. Get the professional grade cut your home deserves with Toro. The Lawnmower Hospital has the right Toro for the job, from the residential Toro Super Recycler to the high-performance zero-turn tractor for those larger properties. Shop now for exclusive spring discounts or 0% financing for 36 months on select units. Beat the rush and get your Toro in for service today. Visit lawnmowerhosp.com. The Lawnmower Hospital.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You probably know Stingray for radio advertising.
What about digital advertising?
Yeah, we do that.
Connected TV?
We do that.
Search and social?
And that.
Programmatic? Digital out of home?
We do it all. Endless digital platforms to connect your business to more customers, to intrigue them, engage them, so they choose your product or service. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and let us help your business grow. We are Stingray. That's what we do.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular menu price order when you use promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.524 rolling through. Jason Gregor, Connor Hanley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. It's where Donovan Paulson is running things, so give him a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. We always appreciate it. As big news today in Oilers land, lots of new faces and some new promotions as we get to the Oil Report, brought to you by Go Auto. Not only do they have over 15,000 vehicles for you to choose from, but they also, hey man, they get back where they work to the tune of over $27 million they've donated to local charities. Take pride in supporting their communities. That's goauto.ca. And we are joined now by the former GM of the Edmonton Oil Kings and now new assistant GM of player procurement for the Edmonton Oilers. Kurt Hill joined us. Kurt, welcome back to the show, my man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I appreciate it. So kind of take me through this, the conversation. When did it start between you and Stan, and when you thought about joining the Oilers rather than leaving the Oil Kings?
Yeah, I think it's been ongoing. I mean, ever since I obviously had a previous relationship with Stan when he was in Chicago, but I think throughout my entire time with the Oil Kings, with the exception probably of the early years, it's whoever was sitting in senior management positions with the Oilers, I'd always expressed my interest at some point to hopefully be able to get the opportunity to move up and work in the NHL at some point in my career. And it seemed like over the past, especially the past year, conversations got more serious. And eventually we got to a place where there was something that made sense.
So kind of take us through what's the role when it's player procurement?
Yeah, for sure. I think, it's, I'm going to be working with all the scouting departments. So the pro scouting department, amateur scouting department, and, the free agency pool as well. And, I'm going to be supporting them and kind of having an overall strategy of those areas and, looking at new ways to do things, make sure that we're collaborating across all the departments, and just making sure that we're overall organized and bringing new stuff to the table every day.
Okay. So you kind of combine all of it, and you've obviously overseen lots of different groups. So you come together. When you mentioned that you're on the same page, because amateur scouting is obviously very different. You're looking at young guys to try to get in the organization of the draft, and then you have your pro scouts, and then you also mentioned though the free agency, right? To look at. So that one's kind of very specific because it's obviously only for a group of players, and everybody knows who that group of players is come July 1st.
Yeah, exactly. And further to not only those free agents, but obviously like college free agents, CHL free agents, et cetera. Andy Slager and his group are the guys out there doing a lot of work on those players too for potential free agent signings throughout the season as well. So, I think the biggest thing is just the communication factor amongst everybody. And, Stan and Jeff obviously have a strategy on, what they want lineups to look like, what things should look like in Bakersfield and throughout the entire organization. So it's bringing a lot of the communication from them through our scouting departments to ensure that they understand what the vision is from up top.
Okay. So Kurt, will you be scouting yourself or more so overseeing, like kind of just ensuring that, you're going down the path that they want to go?
I think there'll be some scouting. I think I'll be there to support them. But at the end of the day, I'm not coming in to be a super scout or anything along those lines. I mean, there's good people in these roles right now, and they're, I'm going to be there to support them, and they're going to continue to do their day to day, and we'll work together on continuing to make things better and do what's best for the overall organization and do what's best for the Oilers.
Now, you mentioned free agents. I'm assuming then you'll work a lot with Tomi Salvalainen, who's an assistant GM and overseeing the European operations, because for a team that's in a win now window, you trade away more picks, so you're still looking to replenish your organization by guys like a Szymanski and others like that who are European free agents.
Yeah, exactly. And talking with Toby and Callie, Bill Scott, Keith Gretzky, obviously. We'll be in communication a lot amongst that group, but you're exactly right. It's, making sure that we have our lists and that we're organized. And at the end of the day, if you're making decisions on signing specific players in North America versus signing players in Europe, I think we just, we'll be aligned on that and make sure that we're doing our due diligence to sign the best player possible for the Oilers.
What part of what you've learned as a GM in the WHL do you think can help you in your new role in the NHL?
I think it's my overall management of people. I mean, running a junior organization, you wear many hats. It's a really big portfolio, and you have a lot of people reporting India. And, I really enjoyed working with the people here with the Oil Kings. I really felt like we had a strong culture. I felt like we created something where people wanted to come to work every day. And overall, it's like it was a place where players wanted to be. And I really liked the processes we had right from, my coaching staff, scouting staff, et cetera. So I'm excited about getting to work with a lot of new faces. Obviously, a lot of the staff is familiar to me just from being around and having the chance to sit in the odd meeting and whatnot. But I'm looking forward to being able to work with them on a day-to-day basis. And, at the same time, there's a lot of guys within the department that have worked in the NHL for a long time. And I'm looking forward to learning from them as well, because there's a lot of real bright minds.
Kurt Hill joins us, a new assistant GM of the Edmonton Oilers. One of his main roles, of course, is player procurement. And Kurt, this is obviously, for you, the goal was to obviously eventually go from the WHL to the National Hockey League. And why? Obviously, the organization, but why did you feel like this was the right time to move on and challenge yourself?
Yeah, one thing, it's right here. It's the organization that I've been in the last 8 years. And obviously, having been here, I've become, close with a lot of the people here. I'm passionate about the team. And but in the sense of when the timing's right, there's two parts to that. I felt like 8 years in the Western League was it was a good run. I mean, there's guys that work in major junior for a long time, and I really enjoyed the Oil King job and was completely happy with it. But at the end of the day, there's only so many jobs, and when opportunities come up and a challenge like this came up, it was something that I was really excited about, and obviously something that I would never thought of saying no to. So I'm looking forward to it.
What do you think you'll miss most about the WHL?
Oh, probably the community of the WHL. The staff are one thing. Like here in Edmonton, I loved all the support staff and my full-time staff and all the players. Like that's one part of it. But the overall WHL community is it's a special thing. When you go away on scouting trips and you get to see the other GMs, you get to see the other head scouts. I became pretty close with them. I've been at this thing kind of in the WHL circuit for about 14 years now. So. A lot of the people around the league are really good friends of mine, and I look forward to still seeing them out and about in the rinks and everything. But it's certainly being a part of that community every day is something that I'll certainly miss.
Kurt Hill joins us. And Kurt, you go from a position where, at the end of the day, you had to make a lot of the final decisions. And in your role now, so how do you go with that adjustment to ensure that, but hey, I still have to voice my opinion? Right. And because I know a lot of people, I know when you were GM, you didn't want just yes men. Right. So how do you kind of balance that going from being the final decision maker to now being a contributor?
Well, I think at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to have a successful team, you want to hear everybody's opinion, whether you like it or not, or, you want to have people that collaborate and they talk and they throw out ideas. And even if they're crazy, every idea is a good idea at the end of the day. And in my time with the Oil Kings, I thought we collaborated great. There was a lot of people that voiced their opinion on things. And again, I think it's important to have your opinion and get it out there. And ultimately, I'm not the one making the decision at the end of the day. But, if I didn't voice my opinion and then we made a decision and I didn't say anything, I wouldn't sleep well at night. So I'll be sure to voice my opinions on the areas when called upon.
So now you get into it. Here we are. We're basically less than a month away. Well, I guess the draft is officially 4 weeks tomorrow. So, you jump into it. You're going to have meetings with your team obviously doesn't have a first round selection. You got a second round, but there's lots of talks about trades, Kirk. And I know you've been following this along. Kind of how excited are you for a new approach and just kind of how different it's going to be where you can build a team knowing that it's not just on a, like a 2 or 3 year window with players. It's going to be, lots of guys can be long-term for you.
Yeah, certainly something that's going to be new to me. And that is exciting though, when guys can be a part of an organization for a long time. And obviously there are changes every season, but that's certainly something that's going to be different from junior. But the most exciting thing is just, working with a group of people that, are innovative, that want to work together. And, I think with the group here with the Oilers, it's going to be a good group that wants to do that, and it's exciting.
Give me your thoughts, because I know you were following it closely. What have you thought so far of the Memorial Cup?
Yeah, I've been watching it. It's unfortunately, Kelowna just couldn't seem to get out of the gates. It was obviously the competition at a Memorial Cup is extremely strong, but Kitchener and Everett have looked extremely strong in the event, and it looks like they're probably on a collision to face each other potentially here. But yeah, it looks like Kelowna has been an exceptional host. Anyone who's been down there and shared their experience with me, everything's been extremely positive. Who doesn't like being in Kelowna at the end of May? It's a pretty beautiful place. So I think the host has been great. It's been a good event, and I think one way or another we're going to get a great final there.
You've watched the league, of course, closely. As a scout, you got the bird eye. What impresses you most about DuPont?
Oh, his skill is, for me, is next level. Even when I was watching him when he was, 13, 14 years old, going through the draft process here in the Western League, his skill level and the things he can do with the puck and his vision it's extremely, extremely elite. And it was head and shoulders above anybody in the draft class in the Western League. And considering what he's done in the Western League so far, it's pretty evident that he's an extremely special player.
Kurt Hill joins us. So, Kurt, kind of going back to it, when you work with do you have any ideas on what you'd like to do to ensure that the scouting across the organization becomes maybe more, not saying it's not streamlined, but to make it more streamlined?
I think it's just ensuring that everybody is communicating. And, I think right now, obviously we have the NHL draft coming up here. And, I know Rick and his team have been working extremely hard on that. And with free agency, I know the pro scouts have been working hard in the area. So at the end of the day, right now, I'm here to support and oversee and, listen and learn. And we'll probably dive more into stuff over the summer where, we start to make some look at making some changes maybe to some processes and just make sure that our communication platform is strong and we have good processes throughout all three areas of scouting.
Well, Kirk, congratulations, and we'll see you around the rink. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jason.
There you go. That's Kurt Hill, the new assistant general manager overseeing player procurement for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll take a quick break. We got Cam Tate, our stats of the day, got some beauties with that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at
That was not written by Torny on his phone.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Chicoutimi defenseman Jordan Tourneur's Christian Humford hockey, leaving an indelible stain on the tournament's legacy. Showcase, and as Jason so eloquently said yesterday,
keep spaces safe and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Camping on a long weekend without a Toyota Tacoma can feel crowded.
better.
When you get a
This is
Tacoma
Cam.
during Red Tag Days, you can take advantage of its powerful iForce engine and rugged capability to find a better site. Take advantage of Red Tag Days on now. Lease a 2026 Tacoma 4x4 double cab SR5 from $110 weekly for 60 months at 5.49% APR with $6,899 down. Hybrid available. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:41, Thursday afternoon. How you doing, Gregor? Halling? Paulson with you. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, if you're into the NBA, check out the Jason Gregor Show special. Hey, we had some MLB, but the game's already started. So get into, for the night's out, little NBA. Let's get to Cam Tate, the 2-minute warning, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all winter at Legacy Heat, or all summer at legacyheating.ca. Here is Cam Tate.
It is a lamentable irony that this year's Memorial Cup, a hallowed crucible for junior hockey's brightest aspirations, will be remembered not for the brilliance of its promise, but for the shadow it casts upon the sport's annals. Kelowna, a city poised to enshrine itself as a beacon of hockey's future, now finds its name entwined with a narrative of disillusionment. A black skate carving an indelible scar into the ice of history. Chicoutimi defenseman Jordan Tourigny has been handed a tournament-ending suspension following a skate-stomping incident on Kitchener's Christian Humphreys, an act Rangers coach Jussi Ahokas decried as coward hockey. Tourigny claims it was an accident, yet the weight of this moment eclipses his junior career, leaving an indelible stain on the tournament's legacy. In a showcase meant to celebrate hockey's future, this incident forces us to confront its darker edges. And as Jason so eloquently said yesterday, show the response on the statement from Tourigny is bluntly laughable. So we quote, "I am sorry not to be able to continue the tournament and help my teammates. At no point did I touch or intend to hit his skate boot or his ankle. My intention was only to reach the blade of his stick. I regret using my skate in that type of situation, and I am aware that this kind of action is prohibited. I am relieved to learn that he is not injured, and that he will be able to play in Sunday's final." Unquote. That was not written by Tourigny on his phone. What 21-year-old has the word prohibited in their vocabulary? It was crafted, if we can indeed call it that, by some public relations hack, with a lawsuit staring them on the other side of the screen. Moreover, that statement is, if you look at the online video, wrong. Major junior hockey teaches young men many things: honesty, accountability, safety. To have it surfaced on such a public stage, or arena, shows how the folks in the corner offices of all junior hockey hopefully are not spending this summer, not at the beach, but in their offices, making their product and Canadian young men better. This is Cam Tate, Sports 1440.
Yeah, that wasn't an ideal release. I think we could all agree that it was less than a great look for him and even for the NHL. It's just not ideal for sure. Now, I've been waiting on I should have done these earlier because some of these are going to blow your mind. Let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction. Founded in 2009, they specialize in underground utilities, power, gas, telecommunication, street lighting, and hydro vacuum. That is All Star Construction. And we're going to start with some MLB numbers. And we're talking the month of May is now their starts are done. But I wanted to talk about Mizorowski, the fireballer for Milwaukee. So he made 5 starts. His ERA 0.29. He allowed 1 run and 11 hits in 31 innings while striking out 49 batters and only walking 6. But that's not all of it. He's thrown the ball harder than anyone ever has before. So he threw the fastest pitch by a starter back on May 8th, 103.6 miles per hour. Now, this is only when tracking began in 2008, but there's not a lot of guys that were throwing 103 miles an hour prior to that. So he had the fastest pitch. He also has the next 6 fastest pitches. Wild. His 93rd pitch in his next start was 103.2. Like, this guy is an absolute fireballer. He threw 57 pitches in his last start on Monday of this week. Listen to this. This is the 57 pitches that were 100 miles an hour or faster. The most by any pitcher ever in a game by a mile. 57 pitches of triple digits. It's crazy, man. He's got 100 strikeouts. His 40% strikeout rate would be the best ever in a single season. Like, he's absolutely killing. Like, if you like pitching, watch him. Then you had Sanchez. Right, he extended his scoreless inning streak to 44.2, which breaks a 150-year-old Phillies record set by the Hall of Famer Grover Cleveland Alexander. Sick name, by the way. Sanchez hasn't allowed a run since the first inning of his final start in April. He's just the second pitcher since 1913 to go an entire month without giving up a run, minimum 30-inning pitch. Do you know who the other one was, Connor Halley? Just for fun? Since 1913. It's a guy that you've probably heard of. I would assume you've heard of him. Oral Hershiser. 1988. He did it. So that's wild, man. Now, staying with baseball. The most exciting, I'm not saying the best, because clearly they're not the best, but the most exciting team in baseball right now, it's not close. It's the Washington Nationals. They've scored the most runs, 306. They've allowed the most runs, 310. They have the third best OPS. They have the third worst pitching ERA. And they've committed 51 errors. Tampa Bay's next to 39. So they can score runs, they can pitch, and man, it is who knows what it is defensively at times. 51 errors. But there's no team in baseball that's ever had the most runs, given up the most runs, and committed the most errors. But that's what the Nationals are right now. So if you're ever looking for entertainment, keep that in mind. If you could bet on errors, that might be the team to bet on at playalberta.ca. How about White Sox slugger Murakami? He became the first rookie in MLB history to reach 20 home runs before June. As he did that, Alvarez hit a home run to 2 home runs for the second straight game. He's got 4 home runs in his last 2 games. He's now up to 20 on the season as well. And into tennis. Now, Cons, Fonseca, how do I say his name correctly? The youngster, the 19-year-old phenom.
I've seen a few different ways, actually. I guess it depends. Maybe.
Is it Joa?
Yeah, I think that's a safe way to go for it. But
Okay.
yeah, because there's, you know how you would say it, depending on where you're from.
Yoa?
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
founder.
Well,
the
that's
version I
no.
found.
I'll say if that's how we say it, Yoa Fonseca. Him and Djokovic are going to meet in the third round. First ever meeting between the all-time great in Djokovic and the 19-year-old rising star. If you're a tennis fan, watch for that coming up. I think their meeting is tomorrow. Should be great. To the NHL, the Habs, they've been outshot 108-43 in their last 3 games. Their 43 shots on net are the fewest in a 3-game span in playoff history in the National Hockey League. It's not just like it's bad. It's the worst we've ever seen. 43 shots on goal in a 3-game span. And not surprisingly, they lost all 3 games. So pretty much lights out. Now, lastly, going to the NBA tonight. And there's lots of talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and everything like that. But how about this? How about the bandana-wearing cue ball, Alex Caruso? In the postseason, he is now 31 for 65 from beyond the arc. 47.7%. In the regular season, he was 29.3. So he's 18.4% better in the play. In honor, hey, rest in peace, Claude Lemieux. But right now, Caruso is the Claude Lemieux of basketball, elevating his game significantly when it matters most. He is right now on pace for the biggest jump in three-point percentage in NBA history, minimum 50 attempts. That is, that's amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. It's a guy that's elevating your game. You want to elevate your game when it matters most? Well, that's what he's doing. Because that's what Claude Lemieux did. Remember, Claude Lemieux, his first year in the NHL, he had 1 goal in 10 games in the regular season. Gets to the playoffs, 10 goals in 20 games. 1 year with the Devils in 94, he scored, get this, 6 goals in the regular season. In 45 games, that was the lockout shortened season. In 95 with the Devils, he had 6 goals. They get to the playoffs, and Claude's like, okay, I'll show up. 13 goals in 20 games. With the Colorado Avalanche in 1997, now he was injured, missed part of the season. He played 45 games, had 11 goals. Gets to the playoffs, 13 goals in 17 playoff games for the Avs in 1997. Like, this guy was a guy who could elevate his game. And right now, that's what Caruso is doing to a level we've never seen as far as being that efficient from beyond the arc. So check out Alex Caruso. So there you go. And again, rest in peace for Claude Lemieux, who unfortunately passed away today. He was fighting some demons, and we wish his wife and kids all the best. It's always tough to lose a loved one. And just remember, as we wrap up the show, want to wrap it up how we started. Gentlemen, talk to your buddies, check in on them. Okay, Claude Lemieux was 60 years of age, and just kind of on right at the edge of an age category for men that is very susceptible to suicide, and we can't be afraid to mention it. It's not. I don't do it to mock someone. It's a serious thing. It's a serious situation, and there's so many people that if you knew, that maybe you'd want to talk to someone beforehand to help them, and that's what it's for. Gents, talk to your friends. Young men too, right? Ages of 20 to 26. Suicide amongst young men is 6 times more prevalent than young women at the same age group, 20 to 26. Okay? It's not something that gets talked about a lot. On our show, we like to talk about sports, but I care about you as people. Right? We can all disagree about sports, but look out for your friends. If they seem off, don't just accept, hey, are you good? Oh, yeah, I'm good, and leave it at that. You might have to have a little bit of an uncomfortable conversation that could lead to them having a more comfortable life. So definitely don't be shy to do it to your good buddies, especially if one of them is struggling or seems a little bit off. You might want to bring it up for sure. It could help out, because lots of times just talking about it for people, that's therapeutic, and things can go down a better path for sure. So there you have it. Coming up, we will continue the Jays and the Orioles live after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Hire Good. Stable jobs, create stable lives. Go to hiregood.ca. Have yourselves an awesome Thursday. Enjoy the heat. We'll talk Elks preseason tomorrow. We got the commissioner on the new TV deal in the CFL, more on the Oilers and MLB. And could we have the Stanley Cup final official tomorrow? Probably. We'll discuss it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Good night.
Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, some promotions from within the Oilers organization today. Michael Farcotti, now the VP of Analytics and Technology. Kurt Hill, Assistant GM with Player Procurement. Callie Larson, Assistant GM with Player Development and Innovation. While Tony Samalainen, Assistant GM of European Operations. Mike O'Shannon promoted. He'll be the new President and GM of the Edmonton Oil Kings. Over in Switzerland today at the World Championship, Canada knocked off the United States 4-0. With that, combining a Finland win, Canada gets the Finns in the semifinal. Not all good news, as Evan Bouchard left that game after a high hit from Brian Lindgren. He was ejected for the play. The other semifinal have Norway taking on Switzerland. In the association tonight, Spurs Thunder from San Antonio tip off in about 35 minutes. OKC leading that one 3-2. And in the majors, Jays, Orioles tied at 1 apiece in the bottom of the 5th. Elsewhere, Cubbies up on the Pirates. Angels lead the Tigers 7-1. Twins fell to the White Sox 6-2. And Braves beat up on the Red Sox 10-2. Later tonight, Rangers taking on the Astros. Coming up next year on Sports 1440 on the AM feed, it is Blue Jays baseball. If you're streaming, you've got Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray.